absolutely rocketed across the board. Some altcoins doing better than others, but the big news of the day, BTC, baby. BTC, Bitcoin, baby, ripping to a new all-time high. I saw it while I was on the road, on the way home from a shopping adventure with my lady. $110,808 for BTC here on the Binance Futures chart. I'm going to be hanging out here with you guys tonight, diving on into the hottest setups in the game. Look over what I'm seeing here in the chart. Are we going to continue? Is this going to be a dump? We're going to dive on into it. We're going to break it down. We're going to talk about this move right here, this move and the divergence that kicked us out of here. What caused this massive sell-off to the downside for BTC? I know I've been away from the charts for a little bit. I've been peeking on my phone, baby, and here we are at a monstrous moment. Hey, WPJW, girlfriend makes you go shopping on a day when Bitcoin hits two new all-time highs. Hey, brother, maybe she should take me shopping more. You know what I mean? That's an indicator. We're going higher, baby. We're going higher. She is truly a lucky lady. I promise you, she is. But we had a good time there at the REI. We were having a lot of fun. I'll tell you that. It was good. But yeah, we hit the all-time high for Bitcoin, and I was like, my lady, we gotta get home. And we were going through traffic, and traffic wasn't moving. It was a disaster. But we got here, baby. We got here. A little terrifying on the way home. You know what I mean? Bitcoin would hit a new all-time high, and I'd be like, ah! And she would freak out, right? Would swerve the wheel, the truck would go, but it was just Bitcoin hitting an all-time high. So it was not conducive to a healthy or a safe driving environment. Nevertheless, we made it here, and it's cool because our truck has this yeehaw deer killer thing that's strapped to the front. It's like a, what do you call it, a guard or a ATM rammer? I don't know what it is. It is truly a yeehaw mobile. But we got home, baby. We got home, and here we are. Bitcoin screaming towards the high, maybe looking for more. And right now, you have no choice but to go on the smaller time frames. You do. Right now, resistance flipped support on the 7-minute and the 5-minute time frame. Looks good for continuation here for BTC. Let's see if that prior support resistance flip can hold down here on the 1-minute time frame. We do not have very substantial bear div yet. That's a good sign, and we'll be tracking this as we go throughout the live. 1-minute stochastics are reset, and let's see what our Fibonacci say, baby. So when you're here, you can do a combination of a couple different things. Number one, you got a 618 retest right there. That's looking for your next higher low. It is incredibly dangerous. If you're thinking, oh my gosh, I missed the move, what's going on? I'm not in Bitcoin, I'm not in Sol, I have no idea what's going on. You need to take a breath right now. You do not want to buy any asset at the all-time high. You just don't, right? Look at the past time. Any time in the past, BTC has hit an all-time high. 9 times out of 10, you got wrecked. All-time high, you got wrecked. Now we just cracked that for the first time, but look what happened back here. Can a scenario like this happen? Yes, absolutely. We formed bear div on the daily, right, which is kind of currently rearing right now, but we're about to break that convergent line. That's exactly like you want to be able to avoid anything like that, because if you buy Bitcoin at the top, you're going to see some colossal downside. You can see some colossal downside, and we're going to talk about the downside risks of this move as we go throughout the night. And let me pull up my charts here, baby. We're going to start where we do every single day. We're going to break down Bitcoin, the hottest asset in the world. Isn't it crazy to think if you have ever bought Bitcoin in your entire life, you are raging in the profits right now. You're in the profits. You made money. Congratulations. Shout out to the entire community. We've been calling for all-time highs this week over here on our X, baby. On our X. Follow me with all my trades, all my ideas, all my insights over here on X, on my profile. I literally post everything, like when I was struggling to get home on time because there was massive traffic. Talked about altcoin season. I called altcoin season. We're still in the golden pocket. I'll talk to you about where I think alts are going to go here in the near future. I had, my beautiful lady here at the REI filling this bag full of juicy hiking Viking gear, which was a lot of it was triple digit stuff. I'm just playing. It was a lot of fun. But boy, do they have some interesting prices there, I'm telling you. All right, yeah, but going on over here, talk about out shopping and talk about the recovery pattern for SUI, which is currently in effect, breaking above the 1 minute 200 SMA, getting this div here, and then getting the div, going to crack the 1. We went up, we were touching the 1, and then we went further to the upside. That was the recovery pattern here for SUI. So we'll dive on into that. Talked about the altcoins giving a lot back during that dump earlier today, and where we got caught, baby, where we got caught on the 618786 golden pocket Fibonacci, baby, Fibonacci. So super awesome for Bitcoin today. The analysis was hot, and that's everything that was posted there on my X. It's all free for you to see. Follow me over on there if you guys don't know what I'm talking about. This is a channel where all questions are welcome, all coins are welcome, all ideas are welcome. I'm happy to discuss anything here on the stream, from the most advanced techniques to the most basic, right? So even if you don't know how to open up a trade, we can walk through that. So or if you don't know what I'm saying, right? Bull div, bear div, Fibonacci retraces, 618786 golden pocket, you know, any of that, I can walk through these things. It's super awesome having that kind of community. Man, thank you everybody for hopping on in. Do me a favor, smash that like button. I want to give a shout out to everybody in the chat. Wanda, WPJ Reviews, as always, from Indonesia. Thanks, man, for being here. Sue Mullins, hey, thank you for being here, Sue. Grandma Sue, that's my grandma, everybody. That's my grandma, I believe. Yeah, that's my grandma. Unless there's another Sue Mullins, but yeah, that's my grandma. All right, we got Frank. Thanks for being here, MH. You guys are all absolutely awesome. Bitcoin search volume at an all-time high, baby. Everybody wants to know, hey, should I be buying this asset? Isn't it crazy how people dive on into assets at the all-time highs thinking, should I buy? Is it the time? Is it now? Right? But, you know, nobody wanted to scoop up BTC down here at this $74,000 range. Nobody wanted to get in the altcoins down here in our box of remembrance when the Boys Crypto community was getting in. And now since then, we've ripped the altcoin market about $200 billion more enriched since we've made those calls on the hottest altcoins in the game: SUI, Render, Virtuals, Ondo, baby, all ripping towards the upside. And I believe alt season is here. It is disguising itself in a very crafty way. I'm going to dive on into that. And what happened last time? What did Ethereum do last time before we went into that monumental altcoin season of 2021? Thank you all for being here, and let's dive on in. First of all, I want to look at Bitcoin on that 1 minute. Yep, we're still holding that previous support resistance flip. Let's see if this holds from earlier in the day. As we know, resistance. Once you break above, you're likely to retest that support zone. That's once during an all-time high breakout, during a blue skies breakout. That is your first level of support. Once you go up into these regions, you have no more support on the way down. So the first likely you're going to retrace to is that prior all-time high break. And it's the 1 minute time frame, everybody. If you're trading on this, very high risk, very high risk. We are in an environment where there's insane liquidity being injected into this market. And, you know, we got the Asian markets opening in not too long. So a lot of this is retail, right? Or the smaller markets across the globe that are fueling this punch to the upside. We'll see what how the Asian markets respond. Sorry, I'm not in my normal business attire and everything, guys, or my business casual attire, I would say. Yeah, I just kind of came in here. I threw on the same thumbnail, same description, turned my light on. I was like, let's go, baby. Let's go to the upside for BTC. So the first thing I'm seeing here, we can see a little bit of a descending triangle. Descending triangles do like to break down, but in the environment that we're in right now, you could definitely get a break up to the upside. Also, what I'm seeing here, a little bit of a, you know, it's hidden shoulder, head, right shoulder. Can that get us out of here? Quite possibly, right? A break to the upside. And what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen now when you crack these highs? And I'm not saying that we're going to do that, but in the event that we come up here and crack these highs, we're going to have another little squeeze event like this. And this squeeze event was pretty substantial, about 1% on a $2 trillion asset. For those of you who don't understand what that means, right? 1% on a $2 trillion asset is still $20 billion. $20 billion being injected into BTC. This is coming for gold, everybody. This is coming for gold. This is the new, better gold that I believe is going to absolutely... Hey, PMG Corey, good. I'm glad you got your shirt, man. Good. I'm glad. I was like, man, UPS is saying they should be here at like between like Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday for you, man. Wednesday for Sin Nasty Kid, maybe Wednesday or Thursday for Michaela B. I'm glad you got that, man. I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you got it, and I'm glad that you're a part of this family, man. Thank you. Congratulations to you for winning that. My good sir, PMG Corey, a great supporter ever since the very beginning of this channel. Sin Nasty Kid, thank you for being here. Shout out to you guys just hopping on in, man. Hopping on in. You'll make an X vid with it for. Hey, appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. That'd be super awesome to see. I would love that, man. I would love that. That would make my day, no lie. But yeah, looks absolutely good here for Bitcoin coming to the end of this little triangle that we got going on here. These do like to dump to the downside. Descending triangles do like to dump to the downside, but I give it a 50-50 here. I'd give it a 50-50 break up, break down, and the next resistance zone that you're going to have is this prior high. Blue Sky's breakouts are incredibly crazy to trade on the 1 minute time frame. I do not advise it for anybody, right? Like you could say, hey, well, we're going to have local resistance in this golden pocket, which is going to be the target of this descending triangle. You know, or, you know, we could go on a further move to the upside and we could just be doing 618s the entire night. 618s, as Jason Casper likes to say, and we could continue to move. If you guys don't think that we could see $112, $113, $114,000 tonight, I want to remind you that this is Bitcoin, baby. Anything is possible. And during a Blue Skies breakout, what happened the last time? What happened the last time we had a massive Blue Skies breakout to the upside? It was right here at this moment. At this moment, we cranked from the highs. I wish I could zoom in here and lock this time frame in, but this was a monumental move for BTC. And you know, and this was a singular candle, right? This is a singular candle, a singular day. But once you crack that high, you went on another $2,600 move, and that's a 3.55% move. That's going to be a much larger move now that Bitcoin is about 160% the size as it was back here during the prior all-time high break. We came down, filled a giant gap, right? Because a lot of these prices were filled here on the weekend. A giant gap in the CME, and we moved further to the upside, and now testing the highs once again, breaking the all-time high here for BTC. This is going to be a very, very strong daily candle close, something that we don't normally experience together here on the live just because of the time that I normally stream. But this daily candle close is going to be one of the strongest we've ever had. It will be the strongest we've ever had in Bitcoin history by about $2,500. That is massive. That is substantial. And I think we're getting to the FOMO area of this run. And I know a lot of people are speculating on a pullback. We never got one here. We did over the course of time, right? But Bitcoin went on from the prior highs to the high that it made just 36 days later on the biggest asset in the world in crypto land anyway, 45.59% to the upside. For clarity, right? If a similar move happened like that for Bitcoin, you'd be looking at about $140,000 Bitcoin by the end of the month in about 30 days. Is that possible? Blue Sky's breakouts, anything is possible, baby. Anything is possible. So, yeah, we'll be tracking that. And we could be in for some juicy moves to the upside. Shout out to each and every single one of you guys for being here. And we're going to dive on in, baby. We're going to dive on in. That's Bitcoin on the daily. Testing the highs, coming in for one of the strongest daily candle close that Bitcoin's had. And to be honest with you, to say, hey, yeah, we have technical now, like we could analyze this on the daily. We've been analyzing it on the daily. But when you get to Blue Sky's breakouts, you don't really have a lot to go on, right? You don't really have a lot to go on, with the exception of macro targets. You could start going towards the 1.618, 2.618 of the prior range that we had here, right? And we broke through the 1.618 here at 109,163, and we are currently sitting above that. So I think 114,509 is very likely and on the table. Also, the daily flag that we had here on Bitcoin erupted to the upside. Thank you, Lily. Erupted to the upside, getting a beautiful retest here on the daily as well before ripping. And I was talking about this just the other day on the channel. If you were a whale, look at this on the 4 hour. This this was no joke. This was whipsaw price action that got a lot of people. It caught me in a trade that ended up underwater very, very quickly. Now we're still in that trade, and the trade's looking much better now. But man, we got in about here at the highs. We were like, hey, this is the breakout. We had the retest breakout, and I was kind of FOMOing a little bit, getting that, the rabies with the foaming at the mouth with the raccoon and everything. But yeah, and then eventually we got that retest, and we went further to the upside. But these candles took away the leverage in this market. A lot of the leverage in this market. Essentially, if you were over 20 to 25x in this market, regardless of what direction you took, you went on a whipsaw ride. You went on a whipsaw ride, and a lot of people were liquidated in this event, both on the long and on the short side, especially the short side when we got the break to the upside. Lots of stops up here at about $110,000, and we did get a little bit of follow through after that, but I'm surprised we did not get more of a short squeeze with that giant liquidity blob that was there. Oh man, I love this game. I love it. I love it. All right, yeah. So that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. PMG Corey, I see you, brother. Absolutely. So yeah, we did fall out of that descending triangle here, retesting that neckline currently as we speak. But this could form into something a little different here. Let's see if we could get a Fibonacci from the swing low. We got the golden pocket bounce. That looks okay. So on the 1 minute time frame, right? Whenever you're, pulling flags or anything like that, it's going to constantly change. It's going to constantly change. It's not easy. Some people trade on the 1 second chart 60 times amplified from the 1 minute chart. It's absolutely wild. Absolutely wild that people do that. It's wild. And not a game that I like to play. I saw the Crypto Lifer this morning. He was trading on the 1 second chart. It was some of the craziest thing. If you've never seen the Crypto Lifer, man, I highly recommend it. Sam Price, super awesome guy, super smart. I've learned a lot of what I know from him. A lot of his techniques have allowed me to become a very profitable trader that allows me to do this full time, baby. That allows me to do this full time. He was trading on the 1 second chart and making absolute massive money on that, showing that how you could do this on any time frame. Technical analysis works on any time frame, everybody, any time frame. It is more valid, right? It is more valid on the bigger time frames. However, the smaller time frames, it works, baby. It works. It truly, truly does. So this is a little flag here coming back to the 618. We'll see if we get the punch here to the upside, sitting on this high volume node. And these nodes, look at these over on the side. Nothing, right? These are all sells right here, all sells up here on that wick. Not a lot of people buying. That was a liquidation event up into that zone. Very interesting. And now we have buyers and sellers playing tug of war at this newly formed high volume node here on the 1 minute. And even if we zoomed out on the daily, right, the high volume node does not exist here because this is still the all-time high. We are still in all-time high territory. And I know it'll be on X, it'll be like, that was the top, that was it. People are going to say that all the way up the chain, the entire way up this bull run, right? Regardless of whether we go to 120, 140, 200, 250, 300, because anything can happen. It really can. And I know a lot of those, okay, I don't think we're going to get that high, but you can't say for sure where that. Nobody knows where the top's going to be. So everyone's going to call, oh, that's the top, that's the top, that's the top. Every $1,000 Bitcoin goes up, and eventually somebody's going to be right. Somebody's going to be right. So you're going to hear a lot of FUD, a lot of craziness on X, on Twitter. I highly recommend to ignore that and dive on into the charts, baby. The charts will not lie to you. They will not deceive you. All right. So that's Bitcoin in a nutshell. We're going to let this cook here a little bit and let this form out here on the 1 minute. Let me see where the 5 minute is. The 21's curving on the 5 minute with price action. Looks okay. I'd like to see the 21 follow through here on the 5 minute, and let's see if the 21 serves as our support level on the way to the upside. I would love to see that. I love this support resistance flip area that we got going on right here. Let's see if it holds. That 1 minute flag looks really, really juicy to the upside. I know it looks a little sloppy right now, but ultimately, we're in blue skies breakout territory, everybody. The market is going to reprice where it believes that the fair value of Bitcoin is before it goes into consolidate, right? So buyers and sellers are going to equalize at some point in that consolidation, right? And you're getting a little bit of it right here. But when I mean blue skies breakout, when Bitcoin rips up $1,000, $2,000 above the prior high, which we currently have, you're going to see some kind of consolidation before the next move up, because everyone's in profit. You have to think, everyone's in profit on BTC right now if they've ever bought ever. So it's natural that people are going to be taking profits on the way up and scalp shorts to the downside. If you're in a big leverage position on a long, you can take some scalp shorts on the way to the upside to protect yourself from that downside risk. Very, very true. Okay, let's dive on in. PMC Corey wants to light us off with the altcoins with INIT. Absolutely, brother. We'll hop on into that. Let me get rid of my X there. Let me get rid of, we got total three looking really, really good. If you're an altcoin holder, you want to see this chart hold up, baby, on the 4 hour, the 21 starting the curve with price action likely to support us on the way to the upside, getting that daily candle close above that 200 SMA with the 21 coming up in the price action. That is a beautiful price action. The 21 likely to support us the entire way up. We'll break up, we'll flag, the 21 will come up in the price action. We'll do that the entire way up the chain as we did last time. And honestly, we never even really came close to the 21 last time, not on the daily for total crypto market cap. The reason for that, in my opinion, is because of the way XRP monumentally ran back there in November. It stayed away from his 21 daily moving average. It took forever for it to catch up and was the #1 weighted coin as it started to push up in market cap, keeping this price action away from the 21-day moving average, even as the rest of the altcoins pulled back. The amount that XRP pumped kind of skewed this chart, in my opinion. So very, very interesting to talk about. We'll dive on into that in a little bit. Let's hop into INIT. INIT, man. Hey, appreciate you jumping on into the chat, man. Absolute legend. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I cannot say how much I appreciate you guys, especially the guys who have been here with me from the beginning, building this channel up from the bottom to the top, baby. We're going to be one of the #1 shows in crypto. Eventually, it's going to take time, but I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be here with you guys, and I just can't express how much it means to me that you guys are here supporting an early channel. I know that when you come across somebody with 1-2 viewers on YouTube, you know, and I don't have a lot of viewers, I really don't, but when you come across someone with 1 or 2 viewers, oftentimes you don't give them a lot of validity, right? But you guys have stuck around. A lot of you guys are here and have just been kicking it with me every night, man. I greatly appreciate it. And I will never forget some of those names that first followed me, man. Like UPMG Corey, Sin Nasty Kid, MH, April, Michaela, Carol, Wanda, all the reviews, all you guys. I greatly appreciate you guys. I greatly appreciate you. All right, so INIT on the daily looks on the 4 hour looks absolutely beautiful, ripping up here back, you know, in whoa. This is past 2 weeks or so. So INIT, is this a new one, man? It might be. Just got released on Binance not long ago, back here in the middle of April. Got a little bit of a sell-off, is what it is, but this is the big move that I want to focus on right here. We got a monumental monster shot to the upside, and you've got consolidation since then. Coming back down to a key area, the 618786 Golden Pocket Fibonacci area. You got that bounce off the 706, which looks immaculate for continuation to the upside. To me, this looks like a standard bull flag, that looks to continue, brother. And if the altcoins do decide daily candle close, baby, daily candle has just closed for BTC. Daily candle coming in with the close, at the highest daily candle close in Bitcoin's history at 110,000. No, it's not. At $109,658 for the king of assets. I'm telling you guys, for those of you that are new here, and I know there's people that are new here, shout out to if you guys are new here. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about or some terminology is weird, just ask it in the chat, man. Ask it in the chat. I'd be happy to elaborate on anything I'm saying. This asset in and of itself, and I know the altcoins are appealing. I know there's like a lot of greed in the market right now. When's alt season? This coin, Bitcoin is my entire retirement account, right? I don't have it in stocks. I don't have it in gold. I don't have it in silver. This is my entire retirement account, and 80% of my net worth is in this asset, in Bitcoin, baby. I believe this thing's going to 10 million a coin. I'll say it. I'll throw it out there for those of you, who are less inclined at math. That's a 100x from here. Is it going to go here this year? No. Is it going to go there that year? No. Is it going to go there in 10 years? Unlikely. I think that we see, right? I'm in line with a lot of the big tech companies' targets for BTC. I think 750,000 is very, very fair by about 2030. That's about 5 years from now. And I believe it will see a $10 million Bitcoin by about 2045, 2050, and that's a 100x. I 100x my money from where I currently stand. I'll retire early, I'll retire happy, and I'll retire my family and my bloodline in this thing. And I have so much conviction that this thing is going to so much higher prices. I hear people all the time, well, Bitcoin's too expensive, Bitcoin's too expensive. Yeah, it depends on your definition of expensive, my friend. You're not going to think that when this thing's sitting at $1 million or 10 million bucks, you're going to be like, wow, I can't believe you got it under 100,000. There's a real chance. There's a real chance, everybody, that we don't see under 100,000 the rest of this run. There's a very, very real chance. A chance that I believe I don't think we see 100,000 again, under 100,000 again before the next bear market. I really don't. And you're going to be talking to your friends, family, and everyone's going to start talking to Bitcoin when it's up here. I wouldn't be surprised. News tomorrow comes on. Bitcoin hits an all-time high. Massive institutional, or the news networks are going to be talking about it. Everyone, their mom's going to be talking about it, just like they did back in 2017 before the collapse, right? And it's going to fund, like retail interest is going to go sky high in this asset. It will. And most people will buy the top. Most people will buy the top and get absolutely wrecked upon. But this thing is everything to me, man. It really is. I've been in this asset for over 6 years now. Ever since I joined the Navy. I'll tell you this. Since trading on iTrustCapital, I've doubled my retirement account. I've made more money in my retirement account trading assets on iTrustCapital than I put in my entire time in the Navy through my normal checks and the Navy contribution. I'm telling you, this asset class is so new. It is so primed. The technology here, this is the next industrial revolution. I'll get off the high horse, man. I'm just so pumped up about this asset, man. This thing is what's going to guarantee you, in my opinion, a bright, brilliant financial future. And I still think, I talked about it, I think anything under 110,000 is cheap. Have I not said that for the past few months? Ever since I've been streaming, anything under 100,000 was cheap, in my opinion. Right? And we were averaging in, man. We were averaging in as much as we could. I bought as much Bitcoin as I could. My last purchase was about $90,000. I bought some about 83. Man, I'm just so hyped. I'm so hyped. And I bought Bitcoin up here too. I did. I was ready to go. I was ready for more. And I still held on to it. And here we are. And I'm happy I bought in here. Because why? I'm still in the profits, baby. I'm still in the profits. Man, this community is going to do some massive things over the next couple of years. And I'm so hyped. I am so hyped, baby. I am so hyped. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to each and every single one of you guys being here. We're going to do another trading challenge soon. I'm really excited to do that. If you guys have ideas for a trading challenge, let me know. You guys want to see high leverage? You guys want to see scalping, swing trades? Because I'm just working on swing trades right now, just for me and my, my portfolio over there on Blowfin. I'm going to mess around with another exchange. I think I'm going to try out a BitNX account. I'm just going to try that exchange out and see what it goes. I'm going to do a little challenge on there. Maybe another 1,000, like maybe 1,000 to 10 grand challenge, something like that. Trading on high leverage, that'd be a lot of fun, man. That'd be a lot of fun. But we'll see where it goes. If you guys have anything that you want to see, drop it on in the chat. Let me know, or comment on one of my videos. I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, okay. Here we go. So that's BTC in a nutshell. We were looking at INIT. PMG Corey, thank you for dropping this chart. I'll be honest, I have no idea what this coin is. I have no idea. Axie Infinity. No. Is it? No, INIT. And I was like, I've heard of Axie Infinity before. Interesting, man. Interesting. $152 million market cap. Relatively small for the crypto space. Ranked 276. So if you're looking for something that has legs or something that could massively do multiples overnight, like I'm talking like nothing in the top 100 is going to 100% move overnight. It's not going to. But INIT has the market cap to be able to support such a move. Bitcoin currently sitting at 109,766. But that looks so good, man. It looks really good to me. 109,849. We're looking like we're going to get another leg up here soon. I'm going to dive on into the Bitcoin chart right after this. But looks good, man. You came down to a key area, bounced off the 706. You tried to off the 618, and you got that reaction. That's all you need, man. That's all you need. That little reaction to the upside. Or, you take it at the 618, take the reaction, move the stop to break even. You get stopped out? Okay. I'll try it at the 706, and I'll try it at the 786 and do the same deal. The 706 caught you. Boom, to the upside. And this is a monumental, monstrous move. The measured move for this target is a 100% move up to about $1.72 for IOTA. Assuming that that was the low, you could also take your fib retracement targets from the swing high to the swing low up here at about $1.83. So coming in between 172 to 183 looks really, really hot to me for a major leg to the upside. And for those of you who are new here, when I say those targets, it's not going to be tomorrow and it's not going to be the next day. Okay, for IOTA it may be, right? The market cap's small enough to support a move like that. However, right, the length of this flagpole suggests it could get there in about 5 days and 16 hours, just as it did right here. The flagpole determines how long that this move is likely to be. It's likely to follow the same trajectory as the flagpole. Is it going to happen that way? Probably not, right? And probably not exactly. It could be more violent or less violent. Like, the odds of this move looking exactly the same are relatively low, but that is the technical target up there to about $1.72 for INIT. Looks hot, baby. Looks hot. PMG, I appreciate you. PMG Corey, I appreciate you dropping that on my radar, man. I'm going to write that down here, do a little more research on it, because I don't know what that coin is at all in any way, shape, or form. But I like those low cap gems, man. If I find something that's not a meme coin, that's not a meme coin. I'm not a meme coin trader. I'll put that on everybody's radar. I'll go over meme coins, but I recommend getting into the meme coins for the long term, because 99% of them are going to zero, baby. 99, not all of them. 99% of them are going to zero. And they're just designed to milk money from the market. But I'm not going to go into that rant. You guys know how that goes when I get on that horse, man. I'll tell you. All right, on the 1 minute time frame, looks like BTC wants to try to make a move, baby. Make a move. Nice rounded bottom. Not just a rounded bottom. Let me hide my moving averages here. Hide the moving averages. You guys see this? This inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder forming here for BTC. Let's see if we get the neckline break. That'd be really, really nice to see. And that will have us off on our merry way to probably at least the 618786, baby. That 618786 bearish retrace. There we go. Testing the neckline. Let's see if we get it. And it's on the 1 minute, everybody. It's on the 1 minute. So where's our next area of resistance? Likely to be up here at about $110,500 for BTC. That's the measured move of the shoulder, head, right shoulder, inverted, right? Inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder to the upside. That's going to be likely our area of resistance. We may stall out a little bit there, possibly flag, possibly just completely break through it, right? Because the amount of shorts, everybody who's short right now on this asset has their stop losses where? Above the prior high. It's just a reality. All the stop losses are right here. That's why during these monumental moves to the upside, right, when you crack this level, you often get a quick jolt to the upside. It's just a reality, right? Everybody has their stop losses here. Some may have it here, right? We got a little bit of a wick above. Let's see if we can get some continuation there. I'm going to put an alert here at the all-time high and see if we could get that move for BTC, but you're likely to come up here to the 618786 golden pocket Fibonacci retrace over the course of the next couple of minutes. 618 getting a little front ran there. Let's see if we can push a little further. All right, drop your coins in the chat, baby. Drop your coins in the chat. Let's see what's going on. Just looking at the chart. Yeah. PMG Corey, I appreciate you lighting up the chat, brother. Glad you enjoyed your shirt. I'm glad it got there. I'm super glad that it got there. I was like, man, I hope these shirts are going out. Like, what if I took them to the post office and people were just like, you know, it wouldn't take anything. Let me tell you guys, I'm not going to rat on anybody. Okay, I'll say we shipped some olive oil, right? When we were overseas, right, we were able to purchase alcohol, right? And I'm not a big drinker or anything, but I was like, man, this would be really, really cool to give gifts. When we pulled into California, right, I got some alcohol in like Peru and in Brazil, things that weren't sold here in the United States. So we came back around and we poured it in California, which is where I left the Navy from. But they said, hey, you have 5 days to get this off the ship. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll send this back home, right? And you weren't able to do that. You weren't a little bit of a support resistance flip right there. Resistance. Maybe test this support again. We'll see. 1 minute time frame. Absolutely crazy trading, baby. Crazy trade. But yeah, and I'm not in this financially invested in this in any way, shape, or form besides spot and my leverage position in SUI currently. But yeah, so we pulled into California and we went into the post office and they said, oh, you can't ship alcohol. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? So I came back into the post office. I was like, what can, you know, what I need to ship this, right? I need to ship this. And he was like, I'll ship olive oil for you. And I said, you will now. So I came back, I wrapped it in some parchment that I found across, you know, the street in a grocery store. And I was like, I got some olive oil to ship for, please. And he was like, all right, I'll do it. But he knew it was alcohol, right? He knew it was alcohol. Do not report me, please. And when I say me, this is completely hypothetical. This never happened. But I shipped 3 bottles of alcohol home, and only 2 got there. Two. He knew, right, that it was not olive oil, and I couldn't say anything because it wasn't olive oil. You know what I mean? It was crazy, man. I got robbed at the post office. Crazy. All right, a little bit of a segue right there. But yeah, little story, baby, little story. No, I didn't drink it, PNG. I tried to ship it home. I got it shipped, but then I got robbed. But I got 2 of the bottles. I got 2 of the bottles back home, and we were only allowed to buy 3. But I was using them for gifts and stuff. And man, then it's like you don't have a gift for your mom. You're like, come on, man. Like you have to choose between your family members. You get the gifts. You're like, what are you doing? Like, yeah, I don't know. I got my mom some stuff, man. But yeah, it's great. But like it was that additional gift, that bottle of alcohol. And it was just, I was frustrated. I was lit up, man. And there was nothing I could do about it. What am I going to do? Be like, hey, I was shipping some olive oil, right? I was shipping some olive oil and this guy robbed me. Like, there's no way, right? Because yeah. I'd be ratting on myself if I did that. You know what I mean? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, he taxed me, man. He took the tax. But yeah, Bitcoin looking really, really good right here. And, you know, I know this is a little bit of a range, right? A little bit of a range between 109.3 and 110.8, but we're likely to flux in between there as we go throughout the stream while Bitcoin decides what direction it wants to take. I am super bullishly biased tonight. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I think the bulls have massive control, and we got to talk about this. What was this candle? What was this? Let's talk about this. When did this candle happen? Just prior to market close at about 1 o'clock today, right? Or it was like 2 o'clock, I think, in Eastern. 2 o'clock Eastern. We had some massive news come out, and essentially it all boils down to this. It's the U.S. needed to sell its bonds, right? And to foreign investors. That's how we could, when we take out debt, national debt, right? That means we have to pay it back to somebody. And a lot of where do we pay our debts to, right? Individual private investors, other countries, governments, companies, right? Whoever decides to, buy treasuries, bonds, anything that's investing in the government, right? Well, when the U.S. came out with bonds to sell, no one really wanted to buy them. And that was incredibly shaking to the stock market saying, okay, yeah, this is bad. The bond market is bigger than the stock market, if you guys didn't know. But yeah, bonds were massively impacted, causing a capitulation in the stock market. The SPY, NASDAQ, yeah, the S&P 500, everything tanked at that time. Everything. Look at this drop in the NASDAQ. That is painful, about 250 points. More than that, right? 389 points to the downside at market close today, after market close. Or during, yeah, right at that news, and continually struggling. Now, what's good about this is a lot of this move came after the market. Now, not really. We've had a major sell-off in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 here in the United States, if you guys did not know. So that drug Bitcoin exactly the same time, right? 1,300 there, and BTC on the hourly. 1,300, baby. 1,300, that nuked with the S&P and the NASDAQ. Market closed, right? 3 o'clock. I keep wanting to say 1,500 military time, man. Come on, what are we doing? But yeah, market closed, and Bitcoin went on its soar to the upside. A liquidity sweep? It could have been a liquidity sweep. It's true, because the SPY, the S&P, looks to really make another attempt at the highs, in my opinion. It's above all the major moving averages. And what do you do before you go on an all-time high? You do what we did the other day. Do you not? You take out all the leverage in the game. Long or shorts gone, longs gone, shorts gone, longs gone, all that high leverage gone. People sit on the sidelines, you rip. People are scared to get long, people are scared to get short, right? Based off of the momentum that you're having, you're standing in front of a moving train. You want to create that uncertainty in the market if you're a whale. Is that what we're experiencing in the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ? Are we going to have a severe bounce tomorrow? That's something I'm going to be tracking very, very carefully tomorrow morning on market open. It is going to be volatile tomorrow, everybody. Not only is it going to be volatile, but what else do we have? U.S. economic calendar coming at you, baby. We got the jobless claims coming in at about, 9 a.m. Eastern or 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's right before pre-market, so that's going to move the crypto market as well, as that news driver is likely going to determine whether or not the SPY and the NASDAQ get that bounce to the upside or not, that news in the labor market. So it's a very, very complex environment that we're here for traditional markets, and it's clear that Bitcoin has been following traditional markets. At that exact time, we got the massive dump, markets closed, and Bitcoin continued on its merry way. So it seems like during New York Open, the Bitcoin just likes to trade with the NASDAQ and the S&P, and it's been that way for a while now. It has been for the last couple of, for 2 years now. This chart, right? This chart looks awful a lot like the S&P and the NASDAQ. It's the reality, right? Including the dump on the daily. This time back here, the NASDAQ and the S&P, this is all, China tariff fears and everything. The NASDAQ started dipping and ripping, to the downside. And now the NASDAQ coming up and testing the highs, just like Bitcoin. The SPY is coming up and looking to test all-time highs, just like Bitcoin. Bitcoin's outpacing the stock market right now, but they are moving hand in hand. Very, very important to just understand that and look at that from a broader market perspective. Another thing that I want to say, isn't it crazy? It's so crazy, man, that these swings in this market are, let's see here. What do we have here? We had our shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline, breakout, came up back, retested our support line, and we are looking to go on our merry way, baby. On our merry way. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, breakout, retest. Further move to the upside, in my opinion, very, very likely. I think that golden pocket may be a little bit of a hump to get through. This area between 110.2 and about 110.5. We get through that, I think we'll test the highs. You also have previous resistance here at this candle body close, and that's in confluence with the 786. So I think we're going to have a little bit of turmoil around there. I think that's the next region when we get this push up. We get the next higher low. Maybe we form this here. This is another idea, right? I'm just kind of, I'm just spitballing at you guys for the reason being that these are the cards that we're dealt. These couple candles, that's what we have. We don't have anything else, right? This could form a beautiful cup and handle. It can. We got the cup forming. Are we going to have that handle from the swing low to the high wherever it's created, right? Say it makes an equal high. We double top, come back to the 618, and then move further to the upside as we go throughout the rest of this stream. Could also happen, right? So it's going to be constantly evolving, especially on the 1 minute chart, because we don't have anything to go on except the 1 minute chart. We could look at the 5 minute, but you're only going to have what? You're going to have 5 candles. You're not going to have a lot. You don't have a lot of data to go off of here. I mean, you could say, oh, boys, crypto, this is this is your trend line right here, but you don't, I don't like that as much. I really don't. I like the 1 minute where we stand. And you could say this is our flag, right? But it's going to take time to fill out. It's going to take time to fill out. I like that cup and handle idea, potentially on the 1 minute time frame. I also like the shoulder, head, right shoulder idea, breakout, retest of support. And then you're going to go into, and this gets crazy too. Then you'll go in on the smaller time frames, right? You're going on the smaller time frames. You have your shoulder, head, right shoulder, breakout, retest. You'll get your next high. And then you'll come back to where? You're going to make higher highs, higher lows. From the swing high to the swing low, you came back to the 618, got the bounce. Now you're trying to make a higher high. You're failing to do so right now. And what did you do? From the Fibonacci, from the swing low to the swing high, you came up to your golden pocket. That's where you got your rejection. So one of those golden pockets is going to win out and deem the direction of this 1 minute time frame. Potentially even a shoulder, head, right shoulder forming. It's crazy when you go on the smaller time frames how technical you have to be. It's constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. So I like to stick with my initial idea and tweak it, as the market gives me more data, right? So I'm sticking with this right now for the time being. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. We had the retest, and we'll look for continuation to the upside, baby. We'll look for continuation to the upside. Key support sitting here at about 109,657, and we'll see where we go from there. Why is that support? Because that's the high volume node that we're given right here at about 109,652, a price that has never been seen before for Bitcoin. That's all we have. That's the last area on the 1 minute time frame where buyers and sellers we're equal, right? As proven by this point of control sitting here at about 109,661. Very, very interesting. So we'll keep up to date with that. If you guys got coins you guys want to go over, drop them in the chat, baby. Stop loss will be 113 feet. Was shorting. Okay. Yeah, hey, and you can short, right? There's going to be somebody who catches the short and makes like immaculate money on it, catches the top. I will not be looking for shorts here. I will be looking for continuation trades, just how I like. I can't short this. I can't, right? That, like, flip this chart upside down. That's what I like to do, right? And look at this on the daily. Are you long? Would you long? And would anybody long this? Like, I mean, you could say, oh, that's a liquidity sweep and we're going higher, but on the 1 hour, like you're let's look at it on the 4 hour. Like you're testing severe support. And what did this last that we've looked at on the stream? A lot of the key altcoins, right? And what did? They lost the support and they're still not back up retesting that. So you lose this on the 4 hour. Like this is why a blue skies breakout is great. You could get a capitulation event. And it can happen very fast. We could be looking at these prices. You could be seeing $120,000 Bitcoin tomorrow. Do not be surprised. This is a blue skies breakout. I repeat, a blue skies breakout for BTC, baby, for BTC. So that's what I'm looking at. Currently sitting at about $110,014 on Binance, on the futures contracts. All right, let's take another altcoin from the chat, baby. Let's take another altcoin from the chat. Altcoin's looking to heat up, and I'll explain that why in a second. Heart Humans AI, get a wheel behind you with 10 random coins. Yeah, for sure. INIT. I should do you talking about like a little spin the wheel here? A little spin the wheel? I don't know if you guys see it. Yeah, spin the wheel and then it goes. Yeah, that'd be crazy, man. All right, so Frank Ramos wants to look at Doge. So we got Heart Humans AI. I have never heard of that. Heart Humans AI. Is it this one? Heart AI. Heart AI, baby. Yeah, let's dive on into it. Never heard of this coin. Interesting. Has been out for a good minute. And you're respecting these lows. This is like in reality, right? You bought at this zone, you went on a ripper. You bought at this zone, you went on a ripper. You bought at this zone, are you about to go on a ripper again? Well, let's see. Currently, I love market structure here on the daily. What do I mean by market structure? Well, the entire time you go down or up on anything, right? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And then you made your first lower low right here. And what do you need to speculate on your first lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, right? Lower high, equal low. When you make that equal low, you don't make a lower low, or there's a slightly higher low, you could say, hey, market structure may be shifting. And based off of the candle body closes right here, it did. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Now, where is this next higher low likely to come in? That 618786 golden pocket Fibonacci from the swing low to the swing high. Now, I have the 886 on here for a reason, right? The 886 was respected. Some altcoins like to dip a little deeper than traditional assets, and some of the stronger assets in the game, right in the top 100. The coins that have $1 billion plus in market cap, I like using the 786. Anything beneath that 786 and the 886 region, you could also treat as the golden pocket. They just like to retrace a little deeper, often with the wick, which we got here. So that's likely your next higher low. And where would you be looking to look at here for Humans AI to go and continue? And I will say this about the AI space. If that is your low, which I believe it is based off of market structure, you're looking to come up here and test this daily 200 SMA. That's your next resistance, baby. That's your next resistance. Why is my VRVP not here? Oh, it doesn't have data on this thing. Okay. But yeah, that's your next resistance, that daily 200 SMA. Everyone who watches this channel normally knows that when we get above that daily 200 SMA, it turns me into a mega bull. It does. Look at it. Look, this is so beautiful, man. It's crazy. This is the simplest way to trade. Like, and this is like, if you know nothing about trading, all you need to do is do this. Let me tell you. Oh, we passed that red line. I'm going to buy. Okay. We got below that red line. I'm going to sell. I'm going to buy here. Oh, I'm going to sell. We got below. I'm going to buy. Right? And we got below. I'm going to sell. I'm going to buy. You rolled this the entire way up. I'm going to sell right here. Like, you be in profit most of the times massively. Massively. And of course, not every time. You got here. You never lost to 200 SMA. And, you know, you came up to here. Even there, if you just went 200 MA to 200 MA, that's still a 32% move. And that's if you didn't even try to get out of the highs, right? That's massive. You lost the 32, you lost the 200 MA here. Losing the 200 MA, full candle body close below. And you saved yourself from a 60% down draw on hard AI. Very interesting. Now you're coming up to that key red line again. You're likely to use it as resistance. It is resistance until proven otherwise, as shown here. Oh, we're going to cross the 200 MA. It's resistance until proven otherwise, right? So when you crack this with what? A full candle body. What is a full candle body? Where you have this entire candle body above the 200 MA. Not something like this, right? Not something like this. That's half the body. And then that's half the body. And then this was a full body above, but it was a major red candle, a shooting star pattern. I wouldn't have gotten in there, right? But that does match the signal. But you fell beneath that low, that you fell beneath the full candle body. I would have gotten out for what, a 0.5% loss at that point and saved me from the bear market trauma. Very, very true. Now you're coming back up to that key resistance zone, in my opinion. From here, that does represent a monumental 52% move to the upside. I'll say this, I say this almost every day. I think AI is going to be one of the leading spaces in the crypto space going forward. I think it is. I think virtuals, I think AIXBT, AI16Z, anything with AI tagged to it can potentially be, oh my gosh, that gnat that I was talking about the other day got inside my microphone. Dude. I thought I killed it there. But it was inside, like, you know, the little guard that's there? It was in there. I was like, no way. Maybe it's like tapping on and you guys could hear it. Wow. But yeah, higher highs, higher lows. And you're going to do that until what? Up here to that daily 200 SMA. And I talk about this for a lot of the altcoins. What was this day? This day was the biggest, this 3-day period from Friday to Saturday was the biggest liquidation event in crypto history where longs got slaughtered. Nobody was selling heart in this area. It was a cascading liquidation event. The entire market dumped. So there's a gap here. There's a big gap here for heart. I think if you squeeze past that daily 200 SMA, that gap is likely to be filled. Why? Because there's no proof that there's any sellers in these zones besides the candles, but there's candles with liquidation candles, not necessarily people selling. So I think once you get above that daily 200 SMA, you squeeze up to about that 2.5 cent region, at least 2.6 cent region. I think that looks good for humans. Is that humans AI? Am I doing the wrong coin? I might have been doing the wrong coin. But humans AI, baby. Oh, it's Heart Humans AI. Yeah, Heart US, Humans AI was thrown there. But yeah, it looks good. It looks hot. You're making higher highs, higher lows. And for those of you who don't know how to get in at the bottoms, who get confused about buying at the top, and you're like, I don't want to buy at the top, boys, crypto. Ask yourself this. Delete all the nonsense. Is the chart going to go, okay, and this may not be the best example. Is the chart going to go like this? No. No, it will not. That's not how price action works. You have a high and a low, and a high and a low. Until you have a low broken, then you make a lower high, and then a lower low. And then you make a higher high, and then you make a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher. This is how the charts look, do they not? Right? All the way through the chart. You'll have higher high, higher low the entire way, and then market structure will shift. Lower high, higher low. That's when consolidation happens. You broke to the downside. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high until market shifted. Higher high, higher low. Okay, now we can be bullishly biased. So if you think that this thing's just going to go like that, it's not, right? Can it make some massive move? Can it do that up to the daily 200? Sure. But then what's going to happen? You're going to get that higher low come in at some point, in some way, shape, form. I don't know how it's going to come in, and I don't know how far you're going to go up, but I'll tell you where I would get in on heart if you did make a new high. Say we come up here on heart, right? Say we make a candle up here and we close above the we get above the highs. Where would I be looking to get in? I would never buy up there. No way. Why would I not do that? Because A, we don't have consolidation. I could look for a flag, or more likely on a higher high, higher low market structure. I'll take my fib, click the bottom, the nearest low that you see, and drag it up. Drag it up, baby. and say heart goes up to here, well, then I have my zone. Then I'm interested in this zone right here. That's where my next higher low is likely to come in. So that's where I'd be interested in a long. If I take a long up here, the correction is likely going to wreck you, right? On any kind of leverage. Longs, you want to long and consolidate, and not financial advice. Nothing I say is financial advice, just entertainment. But whenever I long, I'm long in consolidation or red candles. Whenever I short, you'll see me short green candles. You want to catch the bottom like shorts. You want to catch the top. If I was shorting this, I'd want to short right here, right? I'd want to take that short with good risk reward, right? And on the SUI trade, admittedly, I chased, man. I did, and I didn't violate my rules, but yeah, I kind of chased. We had consolidation. We were in a flag, and I got the pop to the upside, and I said, "Oh my gosh, we had the bullish retest," and it dumped in my face. And I learned a lesson. You learn a lesson on every losing trade, that is for sure. And it's not even a losing trade yet. It's back up the break even. It is what it is. But man, crazy, or almost break even, I think, on the SUI trade. So that's Chart Humans AI. Don't know anything about it, but I'll tell you this. It has bullish market structure, and I'd be looking for higher prices, baby. Higher prices. Much love to each and every single one of you kicking it and hanging out here with me tonight. If you guys are new, just popping in, do me a favor. Smash that like button, baby. Smash that like button and drop your favorite coin in the chart. Let's take a quick peek at Bitcoin. Okay, get in a little bit of a rounding here. Potential cup handle, maybe. Right? Potential. It's on the 1 minute time frame. Where would we bounce? We'd bounce from right here. We bounce from here out of that cup and handle. Looking pretty rounded though. But we'll see. Things are going to get volatile, ladies and gentlemen. Things are going to get volatile, and the volatility is going to be a little more extreme for the next hour or so. For the next hour until the Asian markets open. Actually open, not pre-market, actually open. It's going to get volatile, right? Because the only thing really moving prices right now are you, me, and your cousin Bob, Billy, Jean down the road. Those are the only people really moving prices with leverage positions. And there's individuals out there that hold 10,000, 20,000 Bitcoin. So it's a reality, right? See if we can get the bounce out of this golden pocket here. It'd be nice to see that cup and handle move to the upside. What would that look like? Well, you have your cup here. You have your cup. And I would like to see, ideally for a cup and handle, you want to see this come up and make a higher high. And then you'd be looking for that 618. It's a market structure shift, right? So right now, in a way, we did have that cup and handle right to the downside. Cup, handle, downside, right? That market structure shift. This came in at just above the 618, did it not? Or pretty close to it. So, and people are going to front run those levels. It is what it is. But you got the cup, and now you have your handle. Cup, handle. I know there's a tool on here that you can do that a lot more seamlessly. But the cup and handle target would take you, from your breakout, and I'm kind of guesstimating right there, right? From your breakout area back up to 110.5. And this is on the 1 minute chart. We'll leave that there to see if it cooks. And it could dump in my face. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not being like, oh my gosh, this is definitely the trade setup. It is what it is. But this is a cup, handle, looks good. We got the reaction off of the zone. Very likely you get the reaction, right? Even if you put it, you put orders in down here, it's not necessarily a bad idea. On the higher time frames, that's where I like to look for those swing entry positions in the event that I can get them, right? That's why I like using alerts. What's cool about alerts, right? I got alerts set over here. It's this little time ticker thing, right? And you can hit alerts, and it gives you all these like price actions, right? Whenever they hit like, hey, I have this trade set up right here, right? And I'll just set them right here, and I'll get in. I could say, hey, I want to get in here. I want to be notified whenever I get here or here. I want to, and this is just like, hey, Bitcoin crossing a line, crossing. You stop, trigger, right? And that's not my trades or anything, but this is just a box that I could put anywhere on this chart and be like, hey, if I have this trade right here, right? If I took it and I left this box here, it would show up here in my alerts, right? It would show up there in my alerts. So very, very interesting. So far, cup and handle looking really, really juicy out of the 618, 786. And look, that's why you want to long red candles. You long green candles, in my opinion, not financial advice, but you long green candles, the risk to the downside is really high. You want to be looking for that next higher low. And when you're shorting, you want to look for the next lower high. So you want to short the green candles going up, right? So that's what you'd be looking for. So this would take us, right, the technical target. Let me get this out of here, right? We already got the bounce. We know where our fib level is. If we come back down into that zone, very unlikely we'll bounce now since we got the reaction in and out of the 618, 786 golden pocket Fibonacci. In the event that we continued here, right, this target takes you up to what? A double top. So that is confluence with not only the measured move of the cup and handle, bouncing off that almost point of control right there, high volume nodes thickening. That's looking good. Looking to gap up through the VRVP to about 110,000. Looks nice. Looks nice. So up here, 110.5. That would be your next area of resistance. And it makes sense. Double top, right? And could this turn into a bigger M pattern? Yeah, sure. Sure, anything's possible. Anything's possible, but we'll have to see. We'll deal with that when we get there. Still got my alert set up here at about 108. I want to get notified if we fall beneath 109. What is this? My trend line? What is going on? What is going on? Why am I not? Oh, I'm on the paint tool. I was like, what in the world, man? So I want to get notified if we drop beneath 109.360. I want to get notified if we come up to that prior high right there. So my alerts will go off. See the alerts popped up here? Very, very useful tool, right? I always use alerts. I love alerts. Super helpful. And you can see the little arrow here. When price gets there, it'll make like a little alarm, like an alarm clock that'll go off in the middle of the night when your lady is sleeping, trying to get rest for her work day the next day. And then my alarm will go off. She'll be like, "Why do you have an alarm set for 2:30 in the morning? You talking to Jake from State Farm?" And I'm like, "No, baby, no. The Bitcoin price, it climbed $100 over the course of the night. Can you believe it?" Right? I'll be shaking her, and then she'll be like, "Go back to bed, Matt. Go back to bed." And I'll say, "Okay, dear, okay." Right? But I'll check the charts first, of course. Very interesting. All right. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Let's dive on into the chat. All right, Frank. Hey, I appreciate you being here, Frank. You're an absolute legend. Thank you for hopping on into the chat. So we'll let this cook for a little bit, right? It's going to take time. The market has to digest this. It really does. The market has to digest this. Even the move on the 4 hour, it's got to digest this mega move, right? How are the Asian stock market? That's another question we got to ask ourselves too. How are the Asian markets going to respond to the U.S. bond market news that we got today? If this Nat doesn't go, man, I got myself a Venus flytrap the other day, and I'm going to bring him in here, and he's going to get that Nat. I'll tell you guys, he's going to get him. So we'll see. We'll see how this plays out, and let's see if we can get that move to the upside out of the cup and handle. Looks hot. Looks hot. Ah, come on, Bitcoin. 1 minute time frame. Absolutely crazy. How is the Stokes looking? Stokes are resetting on the 5 minute. That's okay. And can potentially look how it looks so different on the 5, man. I mean, you can see it here, the cup and handle, but I'd be looking for a bounce. I'd be looking for a bounce here. I'd have to look for a bounce. Maybe a pennant here. Kicks you up to the top of the pattern. It's crazy. I'm not going to share the 1 minute time frame, man. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, different to the downside. Look how it wrecked it, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. But we'll see. We'll see. Next area of support down here, 109.244. You crack this level of support right here. So that's the next area that could possibly catch you higher from a higher high, higher low perspective as well, right? This is the next support area that we crack through, okay? Higher high, higher lows. This is your higher high, higher low. Where's the next fib? You can pull it from this reaction right here. From this. Woo! Woo! Bitcoin crossing, right? Bitcoin crossing that level. We broke that level that I talked about right here on the 1 minute time frame. So my alert went off. You heard my annoying alarm. That's what goes off all the time. So now you can pull from this impulse down here. And now you have a different 618786 to work with. Okay, this reaction wasn't enough, right? So is this enough? The reaction that we had prior to going off and into this all-time high territory. Are we just going to get a nukage like we did earlier? It's possible, but we'll have to see. On the 5 minute, looking okay. We made a higher high, higher low, higher high. And you could also take it from this low right here on the 5 minute. Very interesting to see here for BTC. I want to dive into Dogecoin, baby. Dogecoin, keep up with the chats. Keep it up with the chats. How's Bubbles looking? Oh, my goodness. The altcoin starting to, it's starting to take a little bit. Bitcoin SV does not seem to care. Big move in the past hour, 15 minute. Not looking so hot for a lot of the bigger assets in the game. SUI, come on, baby. Hold on. Hold on, SUI. I know you can do it. I know you can do it, SUI. Hold on. But, yeah. Okay. I know I'm getting a little crazy, man. Forgive me. I just got home from a shopping experience. And driving in downtown Dallas traffic. It's been absolutely crazy. All right, let's look at Dogecoin. Dogecoin, baby. So when I talked about meme coins earlier, and look at this. We had this the other day in a flag, boom, to the upside. What was the flag on? Yeah, the 4 hour time frame. And I said, hey, this thing could get busy, baby. This thing could get busy. Peeking out of that flag as we speak. And I talked about memes, and I said earlier in the stream, I said, I'm not a meme guy. Spot, I don't have any meme coins. I don't own any meme coins, right? Every once in a while, I'll dabble in one, right? Throw some money in there. Hey, it's fun. but it's with less than like 0.5% of like 1% of my entire network. Like it's small, right? $10, $20. Okay, fine. But you don't want to be throwing thousands of dollars, 10 grand into a meme that could potentially double overnight, or you could potentially lose your money. Rug pulls happen in this space all the time. That will not, in my opinion, that will not happen for Dogecoin. Why do I say that? This is the premier meme. It'll always have validity in the space, in my mind. And in my opinion, I think it's likely to be the #1 meme over the course of time. You could say, oh, Pepe's a competitor. Maybe, and that's possible, but that's not something that I'd be willing to bet the house on. Inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder, getting that rip to the upside for Dogecoin. Looking pretty good here to me, my friend. And that's slanted. I love slanted shoulder, head, right shoulders. Why? Because the target takes you a little more aggressively. That move is likely to be a little more aggressive in the form of like a really strong 4-hour candle, 3-hour candle. And that goes in confluence with something that I want to talk about tonight as well. So that looks really, really good for Dogecoin. On the daily, that would also take you back up to where your daily 200 SMA, an area that you were not able to reclaim on the last push to the upside. And Dogecoin is showing a little bit more relative strength. Why? Because it's fib. When you pull it from low to high, you didn't even come back down to your 618. You got caught at the 0.5, showing that the bulls were able to step in a little earlier than some of the other altcoin assets that are in this game, baby. So Dogecoin looking relatively strong. It has a huge community behind it. Elon Musk, Tesla, all that good stuff. Oh my goodness, Bitcoin. Oh, I read that wrong. So getting caught at the 0.5 of this reaction right here. This is not easy to trade, everybody. This is not easy to trade. And I'm not trading this move right here exactly. But I will say this. Does this not look like a little bit of an Adam and Eve double top? Adam, Eve, double top. Could also view it as that as well. Very interesting. I'm just glad to be here with you guys tonight, man. Celebrating with you guys. This is the all-time high day for BTC. And I'll see it on X. You guys are going to see it too. That was it. That was the top. We're in. And could the top be in? Absolutely. But those guys are going to say that 10 times over before they're right. Right? Eventually they'll be right. But they're not going to be right the first time, in my opinion. There were people earlier today on this move that said that was it. That was it. You can see it. It's on their X accounts. Bitcoin, Bitcoin top in. You can search that when we were down here. And look at that. We went and broke the high and they were wrong in the course of 4 hours. And now they're like, how do you respond to that? Oh, I was wrong. Now the top's in. Wouldn't that be crazy if I came on the live every day and Bitcoin kept climbing to the upside and then I kept being like, this is the top. This is it. And then it keeps going, and it keeps going, and it keeps going. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Carl the Moon. Shout out to Carl the Moon. Made millions in the space. A little flashy for my taste. It is what it is. But that's what he does every day on X. He says, alt season starts today. I'll show you. I'll show you guys. I'm not hating anybody else, but this is what you'll see for the tops, right? Carl the Moon. You can go down through this man's Twitter. Let's scroll down. Most of you will be millionaires by don't sell too early. Oh, this was 18 hours, right? But going down, you can see this dude. Yeah, he like rides around in his race car. Don't sell too early. May 20th. Okay, cool. The real breakout is loading May 19th. All right, cool. Agreed. But then he'll talk about, you can go way back in this, and he's been like altcoin loading, incredibly bullish on Bitcoin right now on May 14th, right? And like, okay, Bitcoin, I get it. But he was like, this is altcoin loading, ETH to 10,000, ETH to 18,000, altcoin season. But he's been saying this since like January. And it's just been constantly going down. So like, I'll never do that to you guys. And, shout out to Carl the Moon. Has way more money than me. Lives a flashy lifestyle. It is what it is. He sells a lot of stuff. It is what it is. But shout out to him for being able to do that. I'm not hating on another YouTuber. I'm just saying I'm not going to treat you guys like some of the other people in this space do. It's just a disservice to you guys, in my opinion, right? Because nobody knows. I don't know. Could the top be in? Could this be the top? Sure. I'll be the first to tell you, I don't know if Bitcoin's topped out right now or not. Nobody does. No trader on YouTube does. It is the reality. I can give you the probabilities, and I think the probabilities are that this is not the all-time high with 99.99999% certainty, right? That it's not the all-time high, and I think we're going higher. I have my whole retirement in this thing, baby. If I thought that was the top, why would I have my whole retirement in it? All right? I would have most of my net worth in it. It is what it is. But yeah, I don't see this being the top for Bitcoin. No, absolutely not. But could it be? Yeah, sure. Did anybody think 20K was the top? Back here? Did anybody think 110 was the top right here? Did anybody think 60K was the top? Or was this 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 the top? Just something interesting. So just be careful what you read and everything on Twitter. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, diving into Dogecoin. Yeah, Dogecoin looks good, man. Hey, sorry to get a little bit of a tangent there. Shoulder, head, right shoulder looks okay to me here on the 4-hour time frame. Looks pretty juicy from that perspective. Does not shoulder, head. But despite this choppy price action, right shoulder getting that move out of there. 21 with price action above that key point of control. And to me, that was retested with that wick right there, showing that the bulls do have strength. And if you watch this channel before, Frank, and I've seen you here, man, and I appreciate it, we talk about this all the time, baby. The point of control. The ball rolling down the hill scenario. This is it. And this is where a lot of coins sit right now. Look at XRP. And I've talked about XRP, right? And how it's at a... Oh my gosh, I spilled water on my keyboard. I'll never swear on the live, everybody. I never swear in general. I'll say that. Maybe every once in a while. It's something like if I hit my head or I stub my toe. Oh, if I hit my head. The other day, I hit my head on the microwave handle when I opened it up. Oh, man. Some creativity with language there, I'll tell you that. But the ball rolling down the hill scenario, high volume node, you're likely to roll off this hill in one way or the other, right? This is the area where the maximum amount of Dogecoin has exchanged hands in this flag. Being above that is incredibly strong. And that's why I'm saying XRP is in such a critical area right now for the bulls and the bears. Coming up to that point of control, we'll take a look at XRP in a little bit. But that ball rolling down the hill, once you get going, man, this thing can move. And it can move in either direction. The next area that you could catch is 18 cents to the downside. Is that really so far-fetched? We were there just, 14 days ago. Is it far-fetched? I don't think so. So I give both the bulls and the bears credibility right here based off of current price action. But if I were to enter along right now, you know what I'd feel the warm and fuzzies be in between? Right? And I'm not saying to get along right now. But you put your stop beneath that high volume node. You say, hey, the bulls have control of this space. I'd put it below that recent low in the flag. And you could try to ride this in a swing position to the upside. It's a beautiful 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio trade over here on Dogecoin. And this is one, what I like, and trading on the 1 minute's crazy, man. It is. And not something that I do hardly ever often. But, and like this, that's how I would do it, right? Based off of like what I was doing here on the 1 minute time frame, that's how I do it. I'd look for a flag. I'd look for a shoulder, head, right shoulder stops to break even. And you know, look how it constantly changes. We got a bounce, right? Where'd we get a bounce? Did we even come down to 618? I don't think we did. Did we? Maybe we did. Okay, golden pocket bounce right there. So now we're in a little bit of a flag. We're in a little bit of a flag. And I have to be bullish right here. I have to be bullish. We're at all-time high territory. So I'm going to be looking for a bullish continuation pattern. Beautiful flag forming here on the 1 minute time frame. We'll see if we get that juice to the upside. Maybe a shoulder, head, right shoulder, potentially deeper than a 786. Potentially losing that high volume node. That's not something we want to see. We got rejected right there. You see that? Got rejected at the high volume node. So we'll see. We'll see. Let the bulls and the bears duke it out for a little bit. But this thing looks really, really juicy. Dogecoin looks really, really good. Let's zoom out on the daily, and that would take you past the daily 200 SMA. Look what happened the last time you got above the daily 200 SMA, my friend. You got above, you retested it. Resistance until proven otherwise, you fell beneath. Resistance, 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 resistance. You can say that's resistance. Got above, support, and then boom. You were gone. You were gone for Dogecoin. Can that happen again? Yeah, absolutely. It's a meme coin with a massive community. It's true. And that move would take you all the way up to about 30 cents. And the question people like to ask me is Dogecoin going to revisit the highs? Is it going to revisit the highs? This move back here in 2021 was market manipulation by Elon Musk. Whether you say it if, ands, or buts about it, it was one of the most brilliant moves in politics. That move by Dogecoin proved to the United States government that we have to look at these like stocks, right, or securities, vice, right, just like collectibles or whatever. And now meme coins are deemed as collectibles, so you could argue that from a legal perspective, you could argue that, oh, like they're not stocks, they're collectibles, so you can manipulate them, right? Like someone could shill them. It's an interesting legal concept. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't know much about that, but I do know that this was a point proven, right? This was a point proven. And a lot of people lost a lot of money in Dogecoin. And the people who think Dogecoin's going to $1, can it get there? Sure, absolutely. But it's just not something I'd be willing to bet the farm on, man. You do have higher high, higher low market structure. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Are you going to get that higher high? I'll tell you this. If you go there for Dogecoin, If you go there for Dogecoin for a higher high based off this current market structure, you can see some insane targets up here near 70 cents. Isn't that near the high? That would be a perfect double top scenario. And then blue skies breakout for the leading meme coin in the game. It can happen. All right, with that, everybody, I want to talk about something, right? Let's take a quick peek at Bitcoin. Quick peek, right? Quick peek. I want to talk about something. Why is my nose so itchy? I want to talk about something really, really quick. All right, going through the chat real quick. Hey, thank you guys. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. You guys are so awesome. Lighten up the chat. I appreciate it. Frank, thanks for the coin suggestion. I'm caught up, I think. Last thing I got from reviews, I know Bitcoin can't be 750K this year unless it's the Third World War happening maybe. Yeah. I don't see 50K this year. No. I could see that by like 2030 for sure. And that's not me. That's Fidelity's target. That's ARK Invest target. That's who else had that target? Somebody else came out with a target like that. It was Kathy Wood on ARK Invest, Fidelity, and one of the other major brokerages. So like those guys are saying, hey, yeah, like we could see a massive $750,000 Bitcoin. And shout out to Kathy Wood, man. She took the stock market by storm with ARK Invest, returning to investors. It was what, 100% in the first year on her ETF? Oh, yeah, that was insane for ARK Invest. That happened just a couple of years ago. So I give her insane credibility. Outperformed everybody. Outperformed Warren Buffett. Outperformed, Charlie Munger. Everybody. They outperformed everyone, right, in PNL in a year. And I think that was back in, 2021 or 2022? 2021, maybe? Kind of crazy. All right. We're going to be tracking this flag, but I want to go into Bitcoin dominance. We got to talk about this. We got to talk about it. We got to talk about it, everybody. Everybody wants to know what's happening to my random altcoin. And I'm with you. I'm with you, my friends. Fear not, for I am with you. I am with you, my friends. Let's look at this. Look, I called alt season here on this wick. And it does not take a rocket scientist to know that BOYCECRYPTO was wrong. I was wrong. I thought I could call a wick, man. I thought I could call it. And I'll have that here for the rest of my life. Boys calls alt season. Matt calls alt season. That's my first name, Matt. BOYCECRYPTO, baby, Matt. Yeah, I was wrong. It is what it is. Why was I calling alt season here? We did get a little bit of a reaction, right? And I was like, man, I even posted this on X. I was like, there we go, timber, right? Timber. And then we got ripped. This was when Bitcoin went to the high, right? And then the next day, we had that fumblage, right? And then we went to a new all-time high. So Bitcoin did take the reins, right? It is true. I am still looking for the top, the next lower high here. This same concept that got Bitcoin out of that dump earlier in the day. The cup and handle, baby. The cup and handle. Let's invert this. I would be looking along this 10 days to Sunday, a massive reaction over the 4-hour 200 SMA coming back to key support based off of the fibs, the 618, 786. I call it at the 618 right there, the bounce off the 4-hour. It looked juicy to me, but this, my friends, my friends, man, you guys are all my friends. I appreciate you being here, man. I love you guys. I really do. So this, we've changed market structure on the daily. On the daily. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. And then we had a week, a massive bullish engulfing candle on the weekly where we just had a couple days of downward. And this is when Ethereum ripped 45%. We have to look for the next lower high. We have to. We have no choice. We have to. Why? Because market structure shifted. And I'll tell you what, if this doesn't, watch out for the altcoins. Watch out watch Bitcoin rip to new highs and this thing continue and your altcoins continue to suffer and bleed comparatively to Bitcoin. Altcoins can trade sideways while Bitcoin rips if this chart violates this 786. We are in now, let me look at it on the 4-hour. We are in now that golden pocket Fibonacci retrace. I thought the 618 would get the reaction. It did a little bit, but then we just ripped higher into the golden pocket. The bears, in a good way, the bears are stepping in here, right? Trying to get us out of this golden pocket right now. This is alt season. If it happens, this is where it happens, in my opinion. It's starting to round here a little bit. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. This is it. It has to. 618, 786, golden pocket Fibonacci to the downside. I would not be surprised, my friends, to see this dump throughout the next couple of days. And I know it takes SAC. It took SAC to buy Bitcoin at 74K. It's going to take SAC to catch the highs on altcoin or the lows on altcoins or the tops on Bitcoin dominance. It takes the sack, man. It does. But this would look, if this was Bitcoin, this would be very, very difficult to long. I wouldn't be longing here, absolutely not. And I get it would be above the 4-hour 200 SMA and you would feel good about that. But you're coming up, you have to acknowledge how powerful these fib retraces are. This golden pocket to me is everything when it comes to altcoins. And my money is still in the altcoins. I still have 75% of my money in Bitcoin, but I have a big 25% bag in the hottest altcoins in the game, SUI. But the only leverage trade I have going on right now is in the altcoins, in SUI, Virtuals, Ondo, and Render, the hottest coins in the game, in my opinion. I think are going to outperform this market. But, you know, to each their own. I'm sure, you know, there's going to be a couple coins that outperform, and there's going to be a couple coins in my portfolio that underperform. But that's where my eggs, those are the eggs in my altcoin Easter basket, baby. It's the reality. Those are the eggs in my basket. I see this 618786 being the top. It has to be in this zone. And I'm going to have this here. This is locked here for the rest of history to see, everyone. And you know what? That's not going to look too bad. No, it will not. If Matt calls alt season here and then we're sitting down here, no one's going to be like, oh, zoom in on the 4-hour. Zoom in. Look. Look. He called it right here and we went 0.5% higher. No one's going to say that. No one's going to say that, right? Now, they may say, oh my gosh, look at Boys Crypto the clown. He called alt season back here, and now we're up here in 68%. you know, that could happen too. It's the reality. But I locked it there for everyone to see, just like I locked our box of remembrance for the total 3 altcoin market cap. The rollover needs to happen here in the 618786. If you're an altcoin holder, this is the altcoin aside, whatever altcoin you have, whether it's Doge, Human AI, whether it's whatever you want to, whatever you own, Ondo, Virtual Render, you know, SEI, SUI, ETH, Solana. To me, in my opinion, this is more important than the chart for your coin at this current stage, because this is going to dictate whether the altcoins in general get love or not. And then you could look at your altcoin comparatively to the market, you know, your altcoin.d, your altcoin dominance. And you want to see that moving to the upside. We are bearishly engulfing right now in the 4-hour that just started, what, an hour ago? So that's good, but we're still consolidating. So we'll see if this does roll over here on the 4-hour. I would love to see it. We could potentially come with it at 786, but that'd be my line in the sand. If you break the 786, you're coming up here to test the highs. If you test the highs again, if you break that high, where are you likely to come? You're likely to gap through the VRVP up here to 68, and man, you know, then you start curving up more violently in the parabola, and you could say, hey, Bitcoin's looking to steal the show, baby. Bitcoin's looking to steal the show and just maybe go on a run in and of itself. It could happen. It's happened before. It's happened for the last 3 years. Look at this on the weekly. Bitcoin's at 110K and your altcoin is where? I don't care what altcoin you're in. Your altcoin is where? If you're in the top 10, ETH, XRP, where are you at? Down 50% from the highs for ETH? XRP, a little less than that. Everything, Cardano, 70% from $3, right? 66, what? Oh, I don't know if you guys saw my business pants right there. Hopefully not. But yeah, Matt calls alt season. Boys Crypto calls alt season at the current moment, baby. I think we're in it. And we're going to see a move like this, in my opinion, very, very soon. Right? Does this not look flaggy to you guys? A little flaggeroony. Cup in the handle. It has to be. Has to be. And I don't say that ever. You guys have never heard me say that. But for you and your altcoin bag and Moon Boy season, it has to be. That target takes you to 60% for Bitcoin dominance. And that's a 4% move. That's massive. This is impartial to Bitcoin's price. Bitcoin keeps going up. That's only more money that goes on into the alts if this chart does break down. Very interesting to look at and something that you guys got to keep on your radar as we go throughout. Look at Bitcoin back at $110,000. Pumping, baby. The difference now, look at this on the 1 minute time frame. The difference now is what? Now you can see it as Bitcoin's getting the pump. What? The altcoins are getting a more violent pump, and you can see it here on the 15-minute. Yes. My ROTC instructor would say, boys, shake your head, yes. And whenever you knew the answer, like whenever I didn't know something, you'd be like, shake your head, yes. Shake your head, no. That's what you say, Sergeant Major blanks. But yeah. But the difference between earlier, right? Bitcoin dominance is screaming as we headed to the all-time high. That was here at about 1 o'clock, 1:30, right? Before we got that massive dump. Bitcoin dominance kept screaming. Now, as Bitcoin is breaking out and heading towards the highs again, now it's starting to taper off. On the 5 minute, tapering off. Changing market structure on the 5. High, low, lower, low. equal high, higher low, consolidation, break to the downside, lower low. You could get a lower high here. Definitely Bitcoin does crack the highs. I would expect a lower high. But the altcoins are starting to get a little life here, are they not? On the 15, on the 1 hour time frame, Injective, look at that, 3% reclaiming all the losses of the day. Bitcoin SV screaming a 10% day. Look at that. We started the day. I remember earlier today, this was red. This entire board was red, everybody. Look at it on the 1 minute time frame. Some of the hottest assets in the game. Ethereum! Ethereum is getting the move. That is likely the reason dominance is dropping. We got to look at it, everybody. We got to look at it, and we got to look at it now. We have to look at Ethereum on the daily. There's so much juiciness to go over here, everybody. I have to be honest. Oh, yes. 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 As Sergeant Major Blanks would say, shake your head, yes. Shake your head, yes. That's what you say every time. Beautiful flag here on the 4 hour. Getting a breakout retest. That retest earlier in the day. Not the nicest looking flag. I would, you could, yeah, you got as many touch points as you can. Breakout retest. Moving forward with Ethereum here. Looks good. Bull flag to the upside. If Ethereum moves like this bull flag suggests it will, the last time was a 45% move from where we currently stand and not the measured move, 32% to the upside. If this happens over the next couple of days, yes, your altcoin will move, and it will move vigorously, violently, and it will move I'm telling you, your altcoin's going to explode. If you're in the top 100 and you're in an asset that has some kind of utility, in my opinion, your altcoin's going to explode. Some things are going to be bigger winners. Others are going to be bigger losers. Your altcoins will explode. The altcoins historically have followed Ethereum. Historically, right? If your altcoin is in the red, right? If your altcoin's in the red, it's likely Ethereum's in the red. And Ethereum's been suffering, man. A lot of people out here talking about the all-time highs coming. April, if you're watching, can you please bring me some water, baby? I'm begging you, my love. Please, please. I'm so thirsty from carrying all the bags around at the REI. At the REI. I'm thirsty. I'm thirsty. I'm just kidding. She carried the bag most of the time. Hey, yeah. All right. So, hey, the cup and handle getting paid as we speak, baby. Hey, that's hot, man. That's hot. Bitcoin dominance starting to get a little bit of a pump a lump. Let's see it on the futures here. Look at that. Look at that, baby. The 5 minute. Oh, my goodness. You got to zoom in on it. This is insane. This is insane, man. This is insane. Insanity. I don't even remember what was I even talking about? Are you talking about I don't even remember what I was looking at. Yeah, this is the flag on the 5 minute, ripping to the eyes, 110,400. Yeah, on the smaller time frames, cup and handles will definitely pay you, baby. They'll definitely pay you to the upside, getting the alerts of the all-time high likely to come in here for Bitcoin at about $110,600. And we're about to go on looks like we're about to go on another run, baby. Looks like we're about to go on another run. Daddy needs a juicy box, and nasty kid. Yeah, man. Yeah, no, I hear you. So let's see if we could crack this. Looking at it on the smaller time frames. The 5 minute, we did get that beautiful flag right there. You know, the cup and handle right on the 1 minute didn't play out here on the 786. Got a little bit of a reaction, but we did get the 618 from down here. 786 reaction from this initial higher low, right? Golden pocket bounce to the upside. Thank you, my lady. I appreciate you. Oh my gosh. She's so gorgeous. Flashed me again. Can you believe it? No, I'm just playing. She did. Love you, baby. Thank you. Oh my gosh. You guys won't believe how much water I down, man. How much water I down during these streams. Your uvula gets so dry. But yeah, it looks hot. All right, so we'll see if we can continue here to the upside on the 1 minute time frame. Woo! Getting a little bit. That's the M. That's the double top, right? People are gonna sell the highs here. It is what it is. Some people, right? So people, bears aren't people. It is what it is. Bears, they're not people. They're clowns, right? They're clowns. Clowns aren't people. Clowns are scary, man. I digress. Pushing harder here for BTC. Let's see if we get that break, baby. The Bears have stepped in before. There's no lie. The Bears have stepped in before. Let's see if we can crack it here at 110,827. Boom. There's going to be liquidity above here. Every short in the game has their stop loss. And the market makers are going to come for them every time until people stop shorting the highs. That's why you see very few people shorting at the highs. When you see someone short at the highs, they get it to the exact dollar or whatever, right? Because when you tap this zone, all those stop losses get hit and you get a little bit more juice to the upside. And we're looking for a FOMO move right here. So we'll see if that does come to fruition here. $110,827 for BTC. Ethereum, let's see Ethereum. Ethereum up as well, likely looking a little stronger here. Looking stronger here for ETH. Looks good, man. Like, these things can rip. These things can rip. And ETH coming up to a key resistance at this level here as well. Where we topped out earlier in the day, this is where Bitcoin was at the all-time high. And Ethereum looking to go on that monumental breakout. Massive liquidity sweep. You swept this low. You swept all these lows right here. Was that a big liquidity sweep earlier? Potential. I'm telling you guys, we could be looking at the all-time highs for the NASDAQ and the S&P in the next couple of days. And Bitcoin is likely to follow suit, in my opinion. All right, let's hop on into the chat. Oh, I'm losing track. Wanda wants to look at virtuals. Absolutely, Wanda. We'll take a peek at virtuals, one of the hottest coins in the game. We'll keep track of Ethereum, Bitcoin. Let me open up another trading view chart right here. I got these up in the upper left-hand corner of my screen. In the event that you guys see these at like 111, start spamming in the chat. Be like, BOYCECRYPTO, go back to Bitcoin, baby. Go back to BTC. So we are a little bit far away from the 21 here. I'm going to get rid of my original work because we know what we're looking at right now. Bull flag, and we cracked out to the highs. You know, the measured move of that. Oh my goodness, you guys hear that, puberty? The measured move of that does take you up to where, yeah, about 111,400, but I'm looking for more of a FOMO move here out of the highs if we do get that. So you're likely to flag out and consolidate here near the highs, right? In some way, shape, or form. We'll see what kind of, we don't know what the flag is going to look like. It could be more downward sloping like this. It's true. It is true. It could be more downward sloping like this, and we could come to a 618,786. It is true. Why am I saying that we're likely to consolidate? Well, we're away from the 21 moving average. The 21 moving average, as Sam Price is teaching the crypto lifer, man. I love the 21 moving average. He taught me that, and I'm like, man, I use it all the time right now. This yellow line that kind of just tracks with price. You never really get too far away. You get too far away, you come back to the 21. You know, you get too far away, you come back to the 21. You get too far away, you come back to the 20. And 21's going to guide you. The 21's going to guide you. So, yeah, we'll see how this flags out here. Could be a range, right? And we could just rip from here. It is what it is. Higher highs, higher lows. We'll also pull a fib. And we don't know how it's going to end up here, but we do know our likely areas of reaction. We'll see if we get a flag. We'll see if we get a sideways flag. We'll see if we get a 618 reaction. Probably more likely at this point at 110,191 if we are going to get that dip. We'll see. Essentially, we're at the highs, ladies and gentlemen. We're at the highs. We've only been above this price for 5 minutes ever in Bitcoin's history. So, in my opinion, we're at the blue skies breakout as we speak. It's some reviews. Yeah, man. All right. Let's hop on into it. Hey, thank you again, guys. Thank you again for hopping on in here and chilling with me on this beautiful night. Celebrations for each and every single one of you guys that do hold this legendary asset. If you guys have a piece of the pie, a lot of my family does. You know, I do, and I'm well vested in it, man. And it's just beautiful to see your net worth start to tick up as Bitcoin just continues to rip and rocket and prove to the world that it is one of the best assets. It is the best performing asset in human history, and it will be for, in my opinion, the rest of time. It really will. Nothing else truly scarce out there. Prove me wrong. Nothing else truly scarce out there except for some good old BTC. Thank you, Satoshi Nakamoto, for what you did for us, man. All right. Here we go. Let's dive on in. We want to look at virtuals for Wanda. Hey, nice call on the Cup and Handle boys getting paid. Hey, thank you so. I appreciate you, man. You're an absolute legend. Yeah, Cup and Handles, baby. Cup and Handles pay the bills. They pay the bills, especially on the macro time frames when you're looking for reversals. Oh, woo! It just feels so good, man. It feels so good. And that's what we're looking for right now as we speak on Bitcoin dominance, but to the downside. Flip the chart upside down, and that's exactly what we're looking at. All right, let's look at virtuals here. I don't know why every time I open up TradingView, it goes to Juke Bitcoin on the 4-hour. I have no idea why it does that. It's every time I open up TradingView, tradingview.com, and it'll take me right to this page. Like, what in the world? All right, virtuals. Let's look at it on MEXC here. Yeah, Wanda. Okay, so virtuals is one of the hottest coins in the game, in the AI space. It is what it is. Dipped with the rest of the market, and this was over the past couple of days, right? As Bitcoin just started stealing the show. Market cap from everything definitely started to struggle, but the charts are starting to tell a story here. They really are. We've consolidated. We have consolidated. We dipped below, swept liquidity of that flag. Very, very interesting. And if you would have gotten stopped out of that flag, you get stopped out of the flag. That's why you have to use good risk management. But now the charts is telling a little bit of a different story. Does everybody see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you feel it, Mr. Krabs? Do you feel it? I don't know if you guys are old enough to... I don't know how... I think my average viewer is like... My average viewer says it on man, dry uvula. My average viewer is like 41 years old. So most people that watch me are older than me. That's cool, right? That's cool. I wouldn't have expected that, right? Like being in crypto, I would expect like more of a younger, population. But nah, it's cool. It's cool statistics. It's interesting. And most recently, my 60 plus, 60 to 70 category has been going up pretty dramatically, right? So like the older people are getting in, which is something that really shocked me, right? And not necessarily getting into crypto, but if they're following me, it's likely that, they're in the space in some way, shape, or form. All right. So yeah, we'll let Bitcoin play out as we go on the virtuals. Inverted shoulder, head right shoulder. Looks really, really good for me, Wanda. And what is the key that, like, this point of control here? This point of control is, what in the world? This point of control is everything that you want right now. This is where the Bulls and the Bears have duked it out, right around that $2 price range, $1.95, where that high volume node currently does sit. In inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder, looking for more to the upside for virtuals. I believe when the altcoins start to rip, as it has been proven in the past, virtuals has been a market leader, right? When the altcoins have ran, look at this thing on the daily. Like, this thing looks like SUI. It really does. It rallied from the lows. Not a lot of altcoins can say you're up 326% from the lows. There's a few, not a lot, right? And virtuals just looks to take major demand or control of this space, in my opinion. I think this thing has more to the upside. I think there's a lot of juice in this asset. I think this asset, I'll say this, I think this asset could land between $10 and $15 at the end of the run. I think there's a good chance you get a 5 to between a 5 and an 8x out of this thing from the current prices, right? Potentially from the lows, 20, 30x, depending on where you got in, 40x if you got in at the lows. But the returns are diminished right now based off of how much this is pumped. But you're not going to see the lows again, in my opinion, based on where we currently are, with market structure. Now, you can say on the weekly, oh, boys, crypto, this could be a cup and handle on the daily. Not if Bitcoin goes and makes an all-time high and Ethereum starts cracking up to the highs. And this is speculative, right? This is new. This just came out, or this just started getting traction here in 2024. But a year ago, this is only a year old. So this coin is new, and it is one of the hottest AI development platforms in the space. If you've never checked out it, check out virtuals.io. They have a lot of cool projects over there. The white paper is cool. It's scarce. The team is incredibly smart. Check out that interview on YouTube with the CEO, what he has in store for the project going on into the future. He speaks very, very highly of it. A lot of the team has a vested time period that they can't sell the token when the unlocks do come. So very, very interesting. I think Virtuals is hot, and I think this thing is going to rip. Honestly, this is my third biggest altcoin. I'm not shilling my bags. But I'll let you know when I'm invested in something. I have a vested interest and I have money in the Virtuals protocol. In this game, I am invested in Virtuals. So, of course, I want the price to go up. I don't want you guys thinking I'm trying to pump. I'm not near big enough to do that or anything. I'm not Alex Becker or anything like that, man. But yeah, I'll let you know that I got in at Virtuals. We got in down near that dollar region, 75-cent region. We were averaging on in the Virtuals, and we're already double up on that, man. It feels really, really, really good where we're currently standing. And I think there's way more in the tank for this asset. I think it is relatively undervalued. Scarce, only 1 billion Virtuals tokens, man. When this thing came out and went on a ripper, look at the last time this thing went on a rally. Does this not remind you of like Onyx Coin or something like that? If you got in at Virtuals on October 2024 and you held it for 3 months, you multiplied your money by, get this, 131. That was a 13,124% gain on that asset. Crazy. Is something like that in store? No, you're not going to get that again. The market cap's too big. It's not going to happen. You'd be at the market cap for Bitcoin if you had a move like that. 131 times. No, you wouldn't. You'd be at like a top 10 market cap. Could it happen? Sure, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Anything can happen in crypto. And the top 10 assets from, 8 years ago are completely different than they are right now. Completely different, right? Speaking of that, I did see Moderno leading the market today. Also very, very interesting. Okay, here we go. Good. I'm glad I'm not frozen, man. I saw myself like still for a minute. I was like, no way. I've been talking about virtuals for the past, a couple of minutes. And we got the, annihilation. Like we got annihilation and I'd have to go through it again. Yeah, but looks good. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. Of course, I never mind going through stuff again. I love you guys. I do. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, inverted to the upside. Looking good for virtuals. Stochastics reset. How's the daily look? The daily, despite, and this is how you know you're bullish. This is how you know. Am I bullish, boys, crypto? Well, you're overbought, right? You got a little bit of a dip off that bear div, acknowledged, but you formed what? Hidden bullish divergence here. Hidden bullish divergence suggests higher low on price action while you're making a lower low on the RSI. Lower low on the RSI suggests before you crack this low here, you're going to crack this high. That's the probabilities, and virtuals is on the way to do just that. And yeah, it looks really, really juicy for continuation to the upside. Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Looking to go and form that next higher high, in my opinion, for virtuals protocol. Looks really, really good. I think it's going to be one of the main market leaders in the space. Bitcoin dipping a little bit here. Dipping. I would have liked to see that reaction off of the golden pocket. We're not really getting that. Let's see. Oh, man. This is what I would have ideally wanted. Ideally, I would have liked this to be down here and form a nice cup and handle down to the 618786. However, we changed market structure. So what can we do? We changed market structure here on the 5. We did make a lower low, but then we made a higher high. So now we can look for that higher low. From the swing low to the swing high. You had to pull your fib from a different area. And that's why it's so hard on the 1 minute, man. I'm not a scalper. I'm not the best scalper. I can scalp, and I have scalped in a couple of my lives in the past. But yeah, man, I kind of teetered away with that. When did I teeter away from that? I teetered away from scalping on the small time frames when I was getting wrecked by President Trump's tweets. I'd get into something, he would tweet out, and then it'd be like, no, boys, crypto, you're stopped. And I'd be like, what the heck, man? And it wasn't just stopped. My stops would take a lot more money from me because the slippage would be insane because my stops are always market orders. So whenever you have a tweet and things just go up or down, those stop losses don't necessarily trigger. They don't, right? They don't even trigger. So it was difficult to get reasonable fees whenever that time period where there was tariff confusion and there was massive volatility in the market. Arguably so, there's still massive volatility in the market, but we're sitting at the all-time highs, and I say that. But yeah, I just decided to take a little bit of a break from scalping, man. It's just not been really profitable for me, and I just need to take a break until the president stops using his Twitter. And you guys know I'm for Trump and what he's doing and everything. I think he's good for the country. But regardless how you feel about politics, he's good for markets. Eventually, he'll be good for markets. He said the other day, you better buy stocks. You better buy stocks now. They're about to go up like a rocket ship without fuel, and then the Fed's going to cut rates, and it's going to be like rocket fuel, baby. It's going to be a straight line up. That's what he said in the Oval Office. That's crazy in that interview. All right, everybody, let's hop on into the chat. We went over virtuals. MH, thank you, man, for being here. I appreciate you. Sin Nasty Kid, you said the candle crushed you on Soul at the bottom at 3 a.m. Woke up to being liquidated. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, that happens. Right, so, Boys Crypto, how do I not get liquidated? Well, you could use a larger margin and lower leverage, right? And you borrow less money from the exchange. You could set that stop a little deeper, risk the same amount, pays less fees, and that'll help you with that. But getting liquidated sucks, man. I've been there. I've done that. And you get liquidated. You're a trader, man. You're going to get stopped / liquidated on, a lot of the trades that you take. It's the reality. You got to learn how to be able to take an L in this space. You really do. You really do. Let me see this let me see. I just want to pull a fib here and see where we came. 886. I don't really count that as valid on BTC. Not something I'm interested in. Support resistance area right here. Resistance. Falling beneath it. Not something I'd like to see. Can gap pretty easily through here. It doesn't have to happen. We're with the 21 moving average. It's crazy. Man, this is crazy price action, is it not? Look at the 1 minute time frame. This is crazy. Cray cray, as they say. I think the kids are still saying that. Are the kids still saying cray cray for those of you guys with kids out there? Cray cray. Dad, this is cray cray. Mom, cray cray. Susie said this in my ear at school, and oh my gosh, it was cray cray. Or maybe people don't see that, and I just saw that on television. Interesting. All right, okay. Here we go. Diving on in. Frank Ramos, thank you for being here. Reviews from Indonesia. Thank you for being here, man. Reviews, you're absolutely amazing. Daddy needs a new juice box, Sin Nasty Kid. All right, and let me refresh this here. Make sure I'm up to date with you guys and the chat, baby. I am. Last thing I got from reviews are some emojis. I appreciate that. So we're all caught up on the chat, right? If we're not all caught up on the chat, Chat, April, come let me know because my thing's not working. My thing's not working. But yeah, looks good. Looks good. Type something in the chat, everybody. Let me know that you guys are still there. You guys are still with me here on this beautiful Wednesday night. All right. So, man, we're getting some volatility in 5 minute coming down. It is what it is. 15 minutes still in the greener. SPX, look at this. Look how deceptive this is. SPX in the last hour just saying, I don't care, and ripping to the upside colossally. 7% move for that. And you're going to see some altcoins win. You're going to see some altcoins lose. I want to talk about XRP. For all the XRP army out there, shout out to you guys making some of the hottest gains in this space. But we got to talk. We got to talk. And I talked about this on my last live, but I'm talking to you right now, XRP holders, and you're at the area, right? And this is not a trade. This is just a trade idea coming up above here. Why is my VRVP not coming in? Okay, there we go. If you are an XRP holder, we got to talk. We got to talk. XRP has been having lackluster pumps and bigger dumps recently. It's the reality, right? You're sitting at 110K. This was when Bitcoin was last at 110K, and now you're sitting down at these lows, wondering why your asset is not at the highs again, much like a lot of the altcoin holders are holding out. I'm not making fun of XRP holders. It is what it is. The reason I want to bring up XRP is because this is one of the coins that is coming into my key areas of interest. Let me get this out of here. Regardless of how you feel about XRP, you're coming into a key area of interest. No doubt about it, baby. That high volume node, look how massively that thing sticks up, baby. It's like the Eiffel Tower if this thing was on its side. You had the ball rolling down the hill scenario. You're at the top of the hill. You're right there. Trade ideas for XRP. I want to keep this on everybody's radar. A break above and a retest. That validates along. You fall beneath the 200 MA and you retest it, right, as this tracks up, that would be grounds for a short. I just want to keep that on your radar. That's the next asset altcoin that I'm looking to trade, baby, whether it be to the upside or the downside, because it's coming into an area of price action that I find very, very interesting. You are collapsing in between the daily 200 SMA, which is slowly creeping up day by day. Not even slowly, pretty quickly, right? This daily 200 SMA is a little more slanted than the rest. Why? Because this move was so massive, and each candle, right? There's a candle. This candle gets added in the equation, and one of these down here at 30 cents gets deleted. It is what it is, right? Therefore, XRP. So this daily 200 SMA is still going to continue to go violently to the upside, right? And the candles are still back down here that we're getting rid of. So this thing's going to taper off pretty quickly, right? But we're not at that point yet. We're not at that point. So the daily 200 SMA is rearing right now to the upside, and XRP is consolidating in between where? The daily 200 SMA and the point of control. The point of control being right there at about 241. So as this gets tighter, you're getting tight for XRP. XRP is getting ready for a move, lady. Let me get rid of some of this nonsense. XRP is getting ready for a move. You're in here and you're tight. You're tight like a tiger, baby. Tight like a tiger. I love this setup right here. Whether you're a bull or a bear, and I'll trade it bullishly, I'll trade it bearishly. I don't care. I don't care what the asset does. I don't care about the institutional dot. I don't care. I'll look for mega moves out of this zone, right? A long justified beneath two beautiful shields, the high volume node and the daily 200 SMA, in the event that we could get above and retest. That's the key. Not right now, but to get above and to get in on the retest here on that high volume node. That's a beautiful move to the upside. And your leverage can be so high. It can be so high. Why? Because by the time we break, even if we go sideways here, that 200 MA is going to be up here, and you could get your stop so close. So close you could go on what? Sin Nasty Kid gambling lifestyle, brother. Right? Shout out to you, the gambling trader in the group. I don't know. I'm just poking fun, man. I know you just told me that the other day. Shout out to you. But yeah, 7%, right? So what can you do without getting liquidated, right? If you're saying, hey, screw it, BOYCECRYPTO, I'll go to liquidation. You could go 12, 13x and potentially get a massive move to the upside with shields beneath you that are very, very valid. I think XRP is going to make a monumental move to the upside. To the downside, XRP can't go down. XRP can't go down. That's what you'll hear all the people on Twitter saying. It's crazy. It can. And it will in the event that this situation arises. We roll over here and the alts don't get the love, and you get that dip beneath that daily 200 SMA as it creeps up. That retest, I'll do it the same way, baby. I will short this puppy down massively, right? From the 200, right? We get that retest of the 200. I'll put the stop above. You can put it beneath the previous high right there, or the high volume node. If you're a high leverage trader, that could be one of the juiciest setups in the game. I would rather take the, 4 or 5x swing to the downside. But if you do catch a drop here on XRP, and this does pair with XRP dominance really struggling right now, but, the short to the downside, because it makes it feel like it's more likely to play out. But I'll give whatever scenario that price action gives us, that dip below and the up into the daily 200 SMA. And I'm tracking this so close, everybody, because there's nothing in this market that's as tight like a tiger as XRP, in my opinion, on the macro time frame. Besides like H-bar. H-bar is looking good, right? But this is getting tight in this zone, and I love it. I love how the 21's curving with price action, and everything just seems to be like you guys know the calm before the storm? This is it. This is it. This is it. And XRP's gearing for either a big rip or a big rug. And I'm going to take advantage of it in either way, shape, or form, baby. I want to keep that on y'all's radar. You can keep up to date on me on my X. You guys will know when I enter in the XRP and I'm looking to swing it to the upside or to the downside. Keep that on your radar. It's so important right now. So important in my opinion. Come on, altcoins. Get some love, baby. Get some love. In the last hour, looking pretty good. Overall, the market, looking pretty solid. Ondo getting a little bit of a pump. Pangu, some of the means. Pi Network, man. I said it before and I'll say it again. I got a weird feeling about Pi. You guys know only 7% of the circulating supply is out. It gives me that heebie-jeebies. It gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. It really does. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's like when you get a weird feeling in your stomach, butterflies in your stomach. It gives me the All right, I'm still looking for this. The 786, 618, I think we come a little lower, right? It would coincide with the 1 minute 200 SMA. A test of that, not too uncommon, right? For this asset, you break the 200, right? I want to see that flip this support. Came down, we tested it here briefly, dipped below. Support, right? That support, it is an area of confidence. So, and take it with a grain of salt. We're looking at the 1 minute time frame here at the all-time high here for Bitcoin. And we'll see. And could this have been a double top? Yeah, sure. Right? That's a double top? Could be. We'll see. I think maybe a little lower. The likelihood of lower is possible, but anything could happen. And what I believe is currently a blue skies breakout, baby. And what is currently a blue skies breakout. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for hanging in here with me. All right, let's dive on in. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, here we go. All right, we got reviews. Hey, MH, thank you for saying that, man. It's still here. Awesome. So thank you for bringing that up. For Hex and Pulse Chain, I am not invested in Hex. I am not invested in Pulse X or Pulse Chain. Right, and you don't even really get. Here's what I can show. So Hex and Pulse Chain, and the chart, man, the chart looks so weird on TradingView. It really does. Like, it just looks weird. It just looks weird, right? Because I don't even. I'll say this. A candle like that scares the crap out of me, man. When was this? Back in March. You've seen some massive swings on this thing. I'll say that. Or this was March of 24. That was a year ago. So I remember this move right here. What was this move? Or this move, maybe? There was some billionaire that got into Hex Chain, right? There's some billionaire that got into Hex Chain and it pumped the price to, oblivion, right? I'll say this from a market chart. I don't know what Hex is. I don't know what Hex does. I don't know anything about the system. However, I'll say this. From a market structure perspective, you're still in higher, low territory, coming back to an area of a key support resistance flip. This was you could argue he was even there too. Resistance, got above. Now this is your support. Something about the Hex Chain, I don't know what it is, but it seems to always be either the biggest red or the biggest green bubble in here, day in and day out. I know that's not a good example, right? Like PulseX right here, up 13% on the week, and so is, if PulseX is there, so is Hex Chain, probably. Where's Hex? Hex, baby. Hex is 87. Oh, 3.6%, so PulseX getting a little more than Hex. I'd have to do a little research, and I'll do that for you, man. I'll do some homework for you on Hex Chain. I have to. Yeah, because I don't know a lot about that asset. I seen it popped up. It is in the top 100. Deserves respect. Good night. My pen. I end up using Sharpie on my dang notebook, and I hate that. But let me get back to you on that one, man. Let me get back to you on that. I can't speak to the ecosystem. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, like I think it's. I'm not gonna do that. Some of the more wild swings in crypto, I'll say that, right? Like some of the bigger swings in crypto off the lows here, man. You had a massive move from September 24 up to October, 241% move, and then you had the November run. The November run was massive, a 3x coming down to a key support, and a lot of altcoins are looking like this. A lot of the smaller caps are looking like this. You're down here. H-bar is right here too, at a key support resistance flip area, right? And H-bar is in a shoulder, inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder. But a lot of the alts are coming down the previous resistance being future support. It is imperative that these alts hold these levels, or further downside is likely. So I think a bounce here is likely for Hex. You can look at it on the smaller time frames, but like, why is Hex not moving with the rest of the market? Why are you still making lows? Bitcoin's at the all-time high. Does this have a dominance chart? No, not really. So, yeah, and I don't know why the chart looks so weird on this, man, but I got some homework to do for you. Losing the 4-hour 200 SMA, playing 200 MA dominoes to the downside, and you're not even, you don't like to see that. Where's your 6? Broke the 6. Where's your 8? Your 8 holding you up right now. So you're going to pin between your 6 and your 8 until one breaks decisively. Maybe forming a little bit of bull div here on your 8. A little too early to tell because this has not curved over yet. But you are making, right, lower lows, right, based off the candle bodies, while you're potentially making a higher low here. But this thing is some of the biggest swings in crypto, man. And that bull div would signal that you're about to get another massive move, right? Before you crack this low, right? And if this low gets taken on a candle body, that could still form the div. You crack this high before you crack this low, but this div's not confirmed yet until you start curving to the upside. You get that confirmed sharp move, right? Like you see here on the RSI indicator to the upside. Thank you for the question, man. I'll do a little homework on that and I'll get back to you on the Hex chain because Hex chain, Pulse chain, they're all like linked together. They all pump together and they all dump together. I have noticed that, but I got to do a little more research, man. I appreciate you dropping that in. All right, what's going on? KJB, thanks for dropping on into the chat. Have I checked out XCN or XLM? I have not, man. We'll hop on into those altcoins, sure. Let's dive on in. XCN, Onyx Coin, baby. So keep me up to, make sure I don't forget about you, brother. I'm not going to forget about you. I got it written down here on my notebook. But if you're not in the stream, I'm not going to go into the stream until you hop on into the chat, right? You want an answer? Until you hop on into the chat, right? Like, not in this stream, obviously. But on the next stream, be like, hey, boys, what was your thoughts on Hex? Right? That way I know you're here. Yeah, I know you're here. You know what I mean? And I can give you my answer, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for dropping that question and gave me a little bit of homework to do. Thank you. All right, so XCN on the 8-hour looks hot. We did get that pump the other day, right? That 4-hour pump, and we did speculate on this Flaggeroonie, baby. This Flaggeroonie. Did speculate on this. Got that move to the upside here. Got that move to the upside. I did caution everybody on this coin. Why? Because it has some of the biggest fluxes, in the game right now. And I'm looking at it on the Binance chart, but this has massive history. Let me look at it on another chart, actually. On Coinbase, yeah. This thing has done, this thing performed like nothing else. Screaming from what, less than half of a penny, all the way up a 20x in the span of no time at all, 30 or 2 weeks, 14 days. And everybody was talking about it, right? 14 days and 8 hours to 20x your money. Unheard of. You don't even see that. You don't see that on Bitcoin or anything else. You don't. Interesting. That was a wild move for XCN. So right now you're sitting in this predicamente, right? You got that move to the upside. Now you're consolidating. And I didn't see this yesterday because we weren't getting that curvature. But this does not look to you. We got some giant high volume nodes underneath you, man. Giant high volume nodes. That's good. That's telling me that the bulls have control of this range. Why does my nose keep on itching, baby? Oh my goodness. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, potentially forming here. That would look really, really juicy for Onyx Coin continuation to the upside. You have a clear resistance level here. There's no question about it. Resistance with that wick. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, potential. And you also have a clear support zone. You can view that as an inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder. Or you could say, oh, BOYCECRYPTO, that could be a shoulder, head, right shoulder to the downside. With the market momentum and where we're going and where I see us being in Bitcoin dominance, I think this could definitely be one of the market leaders. I am not personally invested in Onyx Coin. You can see this as a flag, or I would take it more conservatively, man. Shoulder, head, right shoulder to the upside. I see more upside. For XCN. You're above the high volume nodes. Stochastics violently pointing in the up direction on the 4-hour, and they are resetting here on the daily. Look at how they're curving right here. That's beautiful for XCN. And for an asset like this, you could get overbought and you could stay overbought for a long time. Look at this. Look at the run back here. The run back here, you were overbought the whole time. Don't be scared of overbought stochastics, everybody. Be weary when you see div. Be weary when you see div, and you didn't form that until you got up here in that curve to the downside. So that's very, very interesting for XCN. I see you being in a range right here with a shoulder, head right shoulder, likely to continue to the upside above the point of control right there. I like it, brother. I got to say I like it. Not personally invested in it, but you want to, if you're an XCN, if you're in any of the altcoins, man, you got to be staring at Bitcoin dominance being like, dump it, baby. Dump it. You want Ethereum to pump. If Ethereum moves, look at Ethereum. Look at Ethereum on the daily. Look at this. Get rid of all this noise. Look at Ethereum on the daily and look at XCN on the daily. Zoom on in here. They are the exact same, essentially, right? They're pretty close. You got 2 green candles on ETH. You got 2 green candles on XCN. Is ETH going to lead the market again? It can. It can. Daily bull flag. Looking to break. I think that's a breakout, everybody. I'll call that a breakout. That's a breakout to me. Last time ETH broke out, that was a 45% move in 3 days. I see the altcoins moving massively in the next 3 days, everybody. I do. Regardless of Bitcoin price action, if Ethereum is going to move, the altcoins are going to move. I'll tell you that. And Bitcoin dominance can dump to the downside as we predicted. But, and so far, the prediction has not played out. But that's still in the air. And I'm going to put that in the atmosphere, everybody. Alt season, I think this is the first lower high. It has to be. It has to be. If you're in the altcoins, it has to be. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, inverted to the upside. XCN looks juicy to me, man. Shout out to you if you're in the coin. And if you're not in the coin, and you got shields beneath you, like you're at the high of the range, but you're still at like fair value to me. Decent trade, 2-to-1 risk reward. Nah, you can put your stop beneath that wick, preferably beneath the entire range. You can even go if you want higher leverage beneath all those high volume nodes right there. That's likely to catch you in the event you go to the downside. Looks juicy, 4-to-1 risk reward ratio, something I would take any day of the week, baby. Boom to the upside for XCN. Looks hot, hot, hot. I'm calling up to about 3 cents for XCN on the next move to the upside. Any 200 MAs in your way? No, you're above every major 200 MA. The weekly price, the weekly is moving with you. The weekly is moving with you. The 21 looks good to me, man. Look at those weekly stochastics violently pointing in the upward direction with the daily curving. I'm calling up more to the upside for XCN. Thank you for dropping that on my radar. I'll be tracking that coin pretty close, man. I'll be tracking that coin pretty close. Thank you for putting that on my radar, brother. Absolute legend. Inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder. Some people would view this as a flag. You could. But to me, that's a little aggressive based off of the size of the wicks, in my opinion. I would stick with the shoulder, head, right shoulder target. If you get the flag, the measured move takes you up to 4 cents. But I would see that shoulder, head, right shoulder. I'd be a little more conservative in that move, just based off of and I would have a take profit, man. Don't expect to wake up for some of these coins that can move like Onyx coin. Don't expect to wake up, right? Like here, how long did you have to sell out of the highs? You didn't. You had a couple minutes up here before they'll drop to the downside. So have your take profit set, brother. Have your take profit set. It's not like you're going to wake up and be like, whoa, we're at the highs. And then you can just stare at it, right? Because then it'll be like, boom. And it'll get you. It'll get you. It's just one of those assets, right? So I highly recommend, even here, if you got in at the highs, right? You didn't have a lot of time to sell before you went on a 25% move to the downside. It's just super volatile. It's just a reality of the asset and where it currently stands right now. It has a massive community behind it. And it's not just me tracking this coin. The public's tracking this coin too. The public sees this as, wow, that thing pumped massively. Can it do it again? And when XCN starts making legs, you can get a lot of retail interest that wants to move you further to the upside. High volume nodes, look at that. Ball rolling down the hill. Next stop, 27. Next stop, 34. You get enough momentum. The stochastic RSI agrees. I see further upside for Onyx coin. Man, dry uvula syndrome is crazy. I was born with it. I've had a dry uvula ever since I've been born, I swear. That's why I drink so much water. It is what it is. All right, here we go, baby. Here we go. KJB. Yeah, it looks good. Iron Dominance pushing that 65% level. Yes, yes. So, hey, that's my call on dominance, man. And I stand by it. I stand by it. Look, I see this thing rolling over. I have to view it as such. Because we changed market structure. Higher, high, higher lows on the daily. Higher, high, higher, low, higher, higher, low, higher, higher, low, higher, higher, low. And we just kept making micro, higher, high, higher lows, and we never stopped. We never stopped, baby. And now, you made your first lower low. And this is on the daily, on the weekly as well. I mean, not really on the week, not on the weekly, but on the daily. I'm going with my Fibonacci gut, right? And look at that on the 15-minute. Bitcoin dominance taking it back, baby. Taking it back. And you can see it here in the altcoins. Look, bleeding a little bit to Bitcoin here. Bleeding a little bit to Bitcoin. So where was I looking at? Good night. So yeah, I see us rolling out. If this is my if-then statement. This is my if-then statement for you that I'll give you right here, right now. If we are at, if altcoin season is going to start now, to me, from a trader's perspective, you need to reject in this zone. And I know I'm looking at the hourly chart. I am. I'm looking at the 4-hourly too. I'm looking at everything. The daily, and coming into this zone, the daily started in red. That's a good sign. But it's getting bought up on the 15 and on the 30 here. We need to reject this 786 or the 706, these two levels that are sitting just above us. That will be the first lower high and is most likely, that's the most likely area the next lower high comes in. In the event we do not reject off of this zone, right? Let me get rid of some of this mess. In the event we do not reject off of this zone, right? Off of this macro market structure shift on the daily, it wouldn't be good for altcoins. And Bitcoin will pump, and if this pumps, people are just going to start selling their alts and going into Bitcoin and saying, screw it, Bitcoin to 150, 200K, and then this thing's going to rip. And how hard can this rip? That's the question, is it not? It's been on a rip for 3 years. Will we see another altcoin season? Nothing's guaranteed, but if you crack that 786, I'll tell you what, the likelihood of you coming up here to 70% is relatively high. If you think your altcoin won't bleed during that, it will. And it may run with Bitcoin, but your pumps may be the same as Bitcoin. 1-2%, and then the dumps will be like 5%, and that's what's going to cause Bitcoin dominance to continue to move up to the upside. Why am I looking at that like this as well? I have to call it right here because that invalidates my macro inverted cup and handle here on the weekly. That's why I'm calling alt season up in this zone, and I called it the other day, and we ripped higher, right? I called it right here, and we did end up ripping higher. This inverted cup and handle on the weekly to me screams to me. It says, hey, boys, crypto, you're not respecting 786, right? If we don't respect this cup and handle, and with how much fibs have treated me over the course of my trading career, right, ever since I've learned how to use them, I have to respect it because it's burned me whenever I haven't. I've been like, man, I'll always look back and be like, wow, how did I not look at that 786? So we could touch that, right? Bitcoin gets a massive pump to the upside. Dominance goes. We do a candlestick like this. Right? Touch that 786, and then we roll over. It could happen for Bitcoin. And it could happen at any time in this zone. This zone is what's important. That 618, 786 golden pocket Fibonacci zone. I gotta move that. I gotta move this, man. I can't keep staring at this right in price. I should have moved this. Oh, it'll take me forever. I'll move. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Matt called alt season right here. This is where Boys Crypto called it. Where is it? On the daily. Matt called alt season. Where did I call it? I called it the other night. At this level right here. I'm going to delete that. I called alt season at the high of that candle. At 64.15. I'm going to put that little text box here. 64.15. That's what I'm going to put. I'm going to lock it for us all. For the future, baby. This is for the future. This is the future. Future, as they say. So I have to call it, man. I have to put my, what do you call it? Your nuts on the table. Is that what people say nowadays? I don't know. But I have to say it. I have to say it is so. Because when we're looking at this, I don't ever want the Boys Crypto community to ever look back and be like, man, we didn't call it. I'm calling it here, 64.15, alt season to the downside, and we'll be down here, and we'll be celebrating. We'll be like, man, remember when Boys Crypto or Matt called this in the, the top of the alt season? And it could rip. If we rip, we'll be like, man, remember when Boys Crypto called the alt season down there? What a sucker. What a sucker. People will laugh, right? It is what it is. And we made that call on Total 3. Nobody's laughing right now. And I think Total 3 can continue to go up as dominance goes up. That's true. But it may be lackluster and comparatively to Bitcoin if it does get that monumental all-time high breakout. Speaking of which, where is Bitcoin currently sitting? Come on, BTC. You know what I love about this daily candle, right? We're green, baby. We're green. I love it. 5-minute time frame. Still looking hot. Still looking hot, baby. We're still consolidating in this range. Now, let me get rid of this. We came down front run to 618. Okay. Oh, man, this is such chop city, man. It's chop city in this range. Yeah, from that, I'm going to call it a range. I'll call it a range, get an updated VRVP for where we currently are sitting. How do I do that? I just zoom in on into where price action currently sits. I'd like us to be above that. I'd like this to be above the VRVP, the point of control. Interesting, two areas that are sticking out to me. Point of control sits beneath us, though. And you'll gap between these two zones, right? Until one is more established as the dominant point of control. And that's when you can get the ball rolling off the hill scenario. So we'll see if we get the pumpage. That's on the 3-minute time frame. The 1-minute time frame is going to be exactly the same for the VRVP. Very, very interesting. Did we fall beneath the 1-minute 200 SMA? We did not. So looking good, looking good. We're still consolidating up here. Nothing to panic. No panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. I know a lot of people panicked earlier on that liquidity sweep. Crazy. With that bond sell-off. Crazy, man. They took out a lot of... Imagine how much leverage they took out with that. Is that not exactly the move that you would want to see right here at the at the highs? To take out that leverage, right? They took out everybody that was long that got in at that range. That was over 33x. All of them liquidated, not stopped, liquidated. And I guarantee you people's stop losses got hit in there too. That's what I would do if I was a whale, baby. I would liquidate everybody I could because it would force them to buy at higher prices, right? From a leverage perspective. Okay. So we'll let that range cook. We've just been trading sideways, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing special. I thought we may be able to get a little bit of a squeeze. But we'll see. We'll see. You know, it's kind of crazy trading up here at the highs. They're in the golden pocket right now. We'll see if that gets respected. You know, from the swing low, this range. Interesting. And coming to the opponent control. But, you know, with the wick, double top, maybe. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. As we go on into the night, baby. Asian trading session coming to you in about 12 minutes here. 12 minutes for the Asians to save it, baby. Shout out to all the Asians out there, man. The Asian market, trading the Asian market. I did it when I was on nights, when my lady was on nights. That's when I was streaming at like 8, 9 o'clock at night. So, yeah, that was a lot of fun. But now I'm on the day shift, man. And she's on the day shift, right? So now I'm on days trading the U.S. market. So really, really cool. All right. Here we go, baby. Those are my thoughts. I will say this about dominance. I called it, man. I called the alt season. But I called it right, we're at the top. We're at the top. And we're at the top. Like, this is it. I'm going to get rid of that, too, because that's just going to bother me in the charts. But we got it locked on the chart. Everybody knows and sees for the history books, baby. Where is it? For the history books, BOYCECRYPTO calls 64.15. Put it over there. Matt calls all season at 64.15. Currently, we are sitting above that level. It is what it is. But we'll see if we get that turnaround as we go throughout the night. But I don't like the way the 4 hours looking so far. Getting bought up here. Bitcoin, man. Look at that. The dominance taking a rip. The 5-minute 200 SMA saved it. We'll see. Still lower highs, lower lows. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how it works out. Likely, if Bitcoin does go and take the high like it has every time, dominance may start to rip. Unless Ethereum does something that we have not seen yet today. Man, Ethereum, look at the altcoins, man. Starting to bleed. Look at that on the 15-minute. 15 minutes, some of the hottest assets in the game down 2% for Pepe, man. Oh, man. It's crazy to see volatility of the altcoins, baby. Bitcoin's trading in like a $100, $300 range. And the altcoins are like 1%, 2%, 5%, 9%, 8% to the downside, 20% to the down. It's crazy. It's crazy market, man. Getting that bounce here for BTC. Was that a 1-minute candle? 3 minutes in the last 3 minutes. Looking good. Ethereum getting that bounce as well on the 3-minute as well. Look at that. Getting a little bit of a bounce. And I'm microanalyzing, everybody. I'm microanalyzing. It is what it is. That's all we have to do right now. Those are the cards we've been dealt. We don't have any other price action in these prices, so that's what we have to deal with, right? New candles. So, you know, in my opinion, we're still in like a blue skies breakout. We have very little resistance above us. At any time, we could push up very, very violently. We're what? We are $400 away, or we are $800 away from the all-time high. It could squeeze there in minutes. It can, especially based off of where we're currently sitting in the charts. All right. What was I looking at? So, things to track tomorrow. Initial jobless claims, that wasn't what I was looking at. We have existing home sales, PMI coming in at 945. Not really going to be anything that I'm interested in. And Friday and Saturday, nothing burgers. Interesting. On Sunday, we got Jerome Powell speaking at 2:40 p.m. A commencement address. Wants to address the nation, maybe? That would be cool. I don't know what that's all about. I'll have to do a little bit of research. But yeah, getting that bounce off of that 618, baby, your fibs. Pull your fib. And when I fib, you fib. We fib, we fib, we fib, as the kids say. I think that's like a song that they have out there somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, wild. All right. Caught the night streams better. Usually get off work and trying to hit your stream now. Hey, KJB, I appreciate it. I'm trying to go a little later. I don't know. I may be even looking at adjusting the stream time. I might, like, it's because it coincides with my lady getting home. Maybe earlier. I don't know. But right now, honestly, like for YouTube and how many viewers we've been getting in, it's the best for my channel. My channel has been growing the fastest at this time, right? So, you know, I like where we currently stream. So it's something I had to talk to the lady about. The manager, as they call him. I know what you guys are. The manager talking. The manager. All right, Square on SUI. Luke Denson, thank you for hopping on into the chat, man. You're an absolute legend. All right, we checked out XCN. We didn't check out XLM. I'll come back to that, KJB. Absolutely. Going to move with XRP likely. Thanks. Appreciate you. So, you're an absolute legend. Thanks for jumping on into the chat. Thoughts on Shiba Inu? Yeah, Luke, hey, I appreciate it, man. I'm not, if you haven't seen the stream before, I don't know if this is the first time you're hopping on into the chat. Luke, or not Luke, Shiba Inu. I'm not a big meme guy, man. I'm not huge on them. I'm not really bullish on them. However, there are a few that I am bullish on. Shiba Inu falling into that category. Why? Because advertised as the Dogecoin killer. Can it be the Dogecoin killer? I don't know. It might be. It might be, right? But I'm not a meme. I'm not a super meme guy. On the macro, you're making, you made higher highs, higher lows, came down here, bear market territory back in 2023, got the massive rippage, and this is the kind of move you're going to get in the meme coin market, man. I know why you're here. I know why you're asking about Shiba Inu. Boys Crypto, is this going to happen again? And the answer is it could. It could, and I'll show you why. Right? So, right now, Shiba Inu got a macro reversal pattern going on right now, like a lot of the other altcoins. I'm going to zoom in here and show you this, man. So, you have a beautiful, look at this. This is looking just like H-bar the other night, was it not? Shoulder, head, right shoulder inverted on the daily, getting that breakout. Not just the breakout, but what? You got the retest right there. You had the retest back of the neckline. That is so bullish to me. And you came back to where? The 618, 786 golden pocket Fibonacci, you said? Yes? Getting the bounce off the 706, right in the middle of that? Right in the middle of the zone? That looks hot to me, man. I see continuation to the upside. If you watch my channel, you know that this red line has a very special place in my heart. It's called the Daily 200 SMA. You break beneath this, retest it, like you could get some devastating moves to the downside. Right here, Shiba Inu. You get above it, you get some rocket shots, man. You did not close a candle body above it, did not close a candle body above it. You close a candle body below, nukage. Resistance, nukage. You got above, and you were safe, man. You fell below. That was a little bit of a one-off. Support. That red line is so important to you as a Shiba Inu holder. You need with a capital N to crack that line. Now, why do I think that's likely? And I've shown this on my stream on a couple other assets. Because this gap right here, the biggest liquidation event in crypto history, that was this period of time right here from February 1st to February 3rd, has not been filled. Has not been filled yet for Shiba Inu. So I think the next move on SHIB is going to be relatively high. You created a higher low. You have a local point of control sitting right here at about 15.83 or 15.8 at 1.5 cents, 1.5 and 8 cents, right? I don't know how to say that. 15.7, you know what I'm saying? 15.7. So you get above that, you have the potential, that ball rolling down the hill scenario, right? That gap in the VRVP I see as a massive, massive squeeze potential for Shiba Inu, with the only resistance point in there being that daily 200 SMA. But I don't really think that daily 200 SMA is going to be an issue, because at that point you get there, if you can get by the daily 200 SMA, even wick above it, you're going to start capitulating these shorts that are in here, right, from the massive capitulation event, or insiders that were able to get that juicy short to the downside off of that weak price action that we had in Bitcoin when somebody decided to market sell. Like, it was like 13,000 Bitcoin to the downside, man. So Shiba Inu looks hot. I think it looks good. I would say it's one of the hotter setups in the game right now. Why? Because a lot of other coins aren't looking like this. You're looking for continuation trades and whatnot, but here you have a macro reversal. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, higher, lower at 618, 786. You got the 706 respected. I'd be looking for higher highs on Shiba Inu, man. It looks good. If you're a leverage trader, and a lot of people here aren't leverage traders, right? Some of them are spot. You can put that stop beneath the prior low. Feel very, very safe and confident in your trade, in my opinion. And again, I'm not a financial advisor. Go 2-to-1, sling this over to the side, and take that entire gap through the VRVP. You can even catch some macro reversal with something like this. So where would I look at, right? Your next, that high volume node is staring at you in the face right here as well at about 18.8. Yeah, in confluence with the daily 200 SMA. That's going to be your first area of resistance. I would I would take profits at that zone, anticipate a rejection or some turbulence, and move your stop to break even. And then I take this thing up to the next high volume node, in my opinion. That's what I would do if I were in your shoes, man. And I got my leverage plays in the game already, man. I got my skin in the game. All the skin that I'm willing to put, all my skin that I'm willing to skin. So I'm not willing to take this trade as it stands. My leverage trades are over there on BOYCECRYPTO, at BOYCECRYPTO102 on X. Free for all to see, baby. So you can see my trades over there. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder for Shiba Inu for the breakout and the retest. Looking hot. Looking hot. 3-to-1 risk-reward ratio. Did anybody get a better, hotter setup than that on the night? Not to me. Shiba Inu, that looks hot. That looks hot, man. I see continuation in the upside for it. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we went over SHIB. KJB, let's go. Kind of eyeing dominance, pushing down. Yeah, man, me too. Yeah, can Bitcoin push 125, 150 with the dominance dropping? That's a great question. So the amount of money that is needed to move Bitcoin right now at current prices is so much higher than was needed before, right? Like a 10% move when Bitcoin was at $100 was $10, and everybody was like, oh, Bitcoin's up 10%. Now Bitcoin moves $10 every 3 seconds. So it's a much, you need a lot more money to move the market, right? It is what it is. So that's an interesting question. The answer, KJB, is I don't know. And I'll tell you what would warrant more money coming into the space. A couple things. Two things. Macro news drivers that I think could move massive amounts of money into this space. The no tax on crypto that's made here in the United States, right? All the cryptos that I own are made here in the United States. Why? Because I have that bullish catalyst of potentially those assets getting tax-free. Ha! Sign me up. I'm here in the United States, man. Sign me up for tax-free gains, baby. Sign me up for tax-free gains. I would love that. And that's just an added incentive of holding the assets that I hold on spot. Bitcoin potentially, that's going to be interesting because does it going to apply to Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin isn't made in the United States. It's, decentralized. So who knows? That, and if the United States government is going to step in and start buying Bitcoin, we know that they're going to try. And Donald Trump has tasked the council with finding a way to get that to start buying Bitcoin without hurting the taxpayer. So if he came up with a way, or that crypto council did come up with a way in order to increase Bitcoin without hurting the taxpayer, because right now that bill, that strategic reserve, nothing's been added. Right? It's just stuff that the government has seized from criminals that they're currently holding and said, hey, we're not going to sell it. But there's no buying involved, right? And I think that's why a lot of those assets that were announced as being part of the strategic reserve, or potentially XRP, Cardano, and Solana, are not sitting at the highs right now. Because what did you get? You said you had one entity saying, I will not sell. I will not sell. The government being like, I will not sell. Well, are you buying? And then you're like, no, we are not buying. And then that's when, in combination with the tariffs, that snowballed us to the downside for alts. And dominance really did struggle since that time, arguably since that time. And, so we'll see. We'll see. Great question, man. And I've been wondering the same thing. That does put that, what do you guys think in the chat? What do you guys think? Can it still run? Like if we go to that's $1 trillion. That's $1 trillion, KJB. Do we have that amount of money that's going to come in the market? $1 trillion? Where are we going to get $1 trillion from? And in combination with that, if we get $1 trillion in Bitcoin, where's the other what? You're going to need another trillion just to get the average, the altcoin market cap to double up. Are we going to get 2-3 trillion? Where's the total crypto market cap going? Are we going to 8 to 10 trillion? I think we could, but I just don't know where that money is going to come from. It's not going to come from you and me. You got $1 trillion in your pocket? No. None of us do, right? Not even the collective public does, right? Trillions of dollars. That's 1,000 billion. That's 100,000 million? Yeah, something like that. Something like that. If you guys can do that, I got not the best math guy. Good trading guy, not the best math guy right off the top of my dome. Not with that. But yeah, 1,000 million, 100,000 million. We don't have that money sitting in our drawer being like, oh, we'll buy Bitcoin, pump the price. Like we just don't, or your random altcoin and pump the price of everything, right? So it's going to need to be institutions, institutional adoptions that give you that macro driver, especially for the coins sitting in the top 10. Very, very true. Coins outside of the top 10 or outside of the top 50, even more so, are going to be a lot easier to move because it requires a lot less money. So that's an interesting question, man. I've been wondering the same thing myself. And dominance, if dominance is going to drop while Bitcoin pumps, I think that's unlikely because I think money's going to shift from Bitcoin into Ethereum and the altcoins at some point in some way, shape, or form. But are we going to get that? When are we going to get that? It's not going to be when Bitcoin's pumping. I think it's going to be when Bitcoin's consolidating and ETH is running, right? And then the money will flow back to Bitcoin when it's done consolidating and Bitcoin will run. And ETH, I don't think everything's going to run at the same time. If you guys remember, during the 2021 run, if you were here, Bitcoin would pump and then start consolidating. Then ETH would do a 30% ripper in a day, right? So, yeah, it's just something interesting to think about. Thanks for the question, man. That's a little food for thought. Hey, KJB, yeah, I want to look at that, man. I definitely will. I want to look at XLM for you. I got you. I want to get to, let's see, I caught the night stream better. Yeah, okay, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for that feedback. I might be able to push it back later on in the night. And then, do the stream right before I go to bed. I definitely could do that too. I'll think about it. I look at the U.S. to revalue gold at Fort Knox and sell gold for Bitcoin. Luke Denson coming in with that very interesting point. I agree, man. If we get anything, gold is a way bigger asset class than Bitcoin. It's an no, it's not. It is a $20 trillion monster now, isn't it? Has to be 20 trill. What in the world? Gold? I don't even know why that pulled up there. Gold market cap, baby. Gold is a $22.3 trillion asset. That is 10 times bigger than BTC. April, if you're watching the stream, can you bring me another cup of water, my love? That would be much appreciated. Dry uvula syndrome kicking in. That's not a real thing, but I self-diagnosed myself. Man, maybe Bitcoin can get the pump and strap tonight. Man, I love being here with you guys. Super awesome. This is my passion, man. All right. Yeah, interesting conversation. Luke, I want to look at Squirt, man. Squirt on Sol for you. Squirt on SUI. Odds are not on TradingView. All right, let's look at it on Dex Screener. Dex Screener, baby, for all your low cap coins. And this is cool, right? You go over here, I get out of here. You can look at, like, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know what Luke's talking about, he's like on SUI, right? You could create a coin on any of these chains, right? That go down, you could go, whatever, on Harmony, on Injective, whatever you want, right? And he's talking about something on SUI. So I know to be in the SUI blockchain, right? He wants to look at Squirt. This is it right here. Squirt or Squirtle on SUI. Squirtle on SUI, baby. All right, the first thing I will say about this, right when I'm looking into it, right, is you're looking at something with a $4.1 million market cap. That is a very, very low market cap. Or this is on Cetus. Hey, thank you, baby. I appreciate you. Squirt, SUI, Sol. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, so the first thing I want to say when you're getting on into this, right, is that if you're going to get into this in any way, shape, or form, I don't care who you are. You got to have a stomach, baby. You got to have a stomach for it. Why? Because look at this volatility. Let's look at this last, hour. In the last hour, this thing dipped 40. They say, that's my buddy McQuillan used to do that. Right? Anything he's telling me, be like, I don't know why I adopted that. So you dumped in the last hour, right? And coins don't do this, right? Most coins don't do this, 22%. I'm not hating on the coin. This thing could also pump 100% in an hour. It's reality. Nothing in the top 100 is going to do that. Why? Because the market cap is at only $4.1 million, right? Here on SUI. Zooming out on the macro, not looking so bad, right? With the exception of, you have the higher highs, higher low market structure being broken. You know, low, where is it? Low, high. Let me get rid of that. Low, high, higher low. You have that higher high, higher lows, higher highs all the way throughout. You guys see this? Higher lows, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And then you made a higher low. And then what happened? Well, you made a lower high. And then what happens? Then you got to speculate on you have to speculate on a lower low. Where's that lower low likely to come in, right? And this works on meme coins as well. From the swing low to the swing high to the 1.618, right? Look at that. Is that not confluence to you? You made a lower high. So where's your next lower low likely to come in? From that swing low, to the swing high that you originally had here on the 1 hour time frame, you came to where? To the exact dollar. The 1.618 Fibonacci extension. Lower low, right? So now you've changed market structure, right? You've changed market structure. And what needs to happen, right? What needs to happen here in order for you to shift market structure? So now let me delete everything that I got here and show you what we're looking at. So now we're agreed we're in a lower high, lower low market structure. You can say this is a lower high. You could argue that this entire thing was a lower high, right? If you look at it on the bigger time frames. This is your lower high. So now I'm looking for a lower low. And the bulls are stepping in here with this candle, right? And you can say, oh, we haven't closed that candle beneath here, right? Creating a lower low. You're making a slightly higher low. And to me, that may look like an 886 bounce, right? You got a little liquidity sweep beneath. And I've been through these rodeos before, man. I've been through these. I'm not saying that this is a rug pull. I'm not saying that, right? But you know, you gotta know if you're into this. You gotta know, hey, who holds the most tokens? You know, where's the selling pressure? You got buy pressure coming on in here for sure. Some bigger sells, $1,000. Hey, you can see it here on deck screen, or exactly like the sells, the buys. It is what it is. But you can move the price. I can move the price of this thing. You put $1,000 into this thing. Guess what? You're gonna see it tick up. Why? Because the liquidity is only at 172K. I can move this thing 1% if I wanted to. If I put, I could do it. I could do it. And then somebody's gonna sell and then take that away. So yeah, $39 buy, 9,000. Squirt. So Squirtle. What I do like about the Pokemon narrative on SUI, I'll say this, and I know why these coins are popping up, man. I got you. The potential partnership between SUI and Pokemon based off of the privacy terms and conditions of SUI's latest contract with the Pokemon industry. Not saying that they're working with them, but they are sharing information with each other, the SUI blockchain and Pokemon. So are you going to get that partnership? We don't know. But I'll say this. You partner with Pokemon and you have Squirtle. For those of you who don't know anything about Pokemon, Squirtle's like one of the first 3 Pokemon that you can get when you go to Professor Oakham. Or is it Professor Oakham? Go to Professor Oakham when you're on the Game Boy. You go to Professor Oakham and you choose between Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and Charmeleon. Oh, I'm a legend, babe. Tell me if I'm right, guys. Oh, my goodness. If I'm right on that, that's tapping into the childhood, baby. For the average viewer of my channel, man, the 40, 50 years old that have no idea what I'm talking about, just take my word for it or buy Pokemon red, green, or blue. Yes, those are the right ones, man. That hypes me up. That hypes me up. I'll just say it. But yeah, looking at a potential double bottom here, right? This could be your bottom. This could have been your bottom. I don't like that volume, man. That's a lot of volume, right? Coming in right there, despite it being low liquidity. And you've had spikes like that before, but very few, very few. This could be a bottom here. Very, very true. Liquidity sweep, and you could be looking to go and retest the highs. Maybe not even retest the highs, but continue with that lower high, lower low market structure. This could be a higher low. So what happens when you make a higher low? You made a lower high, and then you made a higher low. Well, now you're going to start consolidating, right? Consolidating between your lower high and your higher low, right? So you're potentially getting into a range here and looking to get tight before going and making your next move. And that's what I would suspect here for Squirtle after you've gone on a monstrous run to the upside of about 100%. I see some Chop City price action in here. I'd look for a range to fill, and I don't have my stochastics or anything up like that, but on a meme coin, it's a meme coin on SUI. On a coin like this, I would look for that continuation, and at any point you hear of a Pokemon partnership, something that's confirmed, just... Yeah, just look at a giant God candle, green candle to the upside. You're going to see that giant green dildo to the upside. Shout out to all you guys that are hopping on in with me, man. I love you guys. Thanks for being here, tracking the Bitcoin all-time high. What is it, 9 o'clock at night Eastern? Thank you for being here. Drop your coins in the chat. Say, hey, smash that like button. Thank you guys for being here. Some more people hopping on into the stream. Much appreciated you guys being here. I appreciate it. And, you know, a lot of questions that are diving on in. Are we going to go to higher highs? Are we going to stall out for the night? Was that the high? People ask it. I know people are already saying on Twitter. I know it because I saw it earlier. That was the high. That was it. Everybody. We're going to 70K. And then 4 hours later, they got absolutely wrecked. And now, at this wick, I'll bet they say, that's the high, that's it. And they're going to do it the entire way up. It's just reality. It is what it is. Okay, here we go. Diving on in. All right, so we looked at SHIB. We looked at Squirt on SUI. KJB, I appreciate you. If you have not read KJB's chats there, that's a very interesting thought, right? Food for thought for all of us as we go throughout the night. Can Bitcoin go to 150K? And dominance drop downwards? Is there enough money coming into this space to afford for that to happen? An interesting thought. And we'll have to wait and see, man. But the news driver events, the government buying Bitcoin / altcoins, adding to the strategic reserve, major purchases by World Liberty Fi, and tax-free crypto, baby. That would be it. Hey, and if you guys are new here and you like the stream, hit that subscribe button, tick the notification bell. I'm here almost every single night, giving it to you hot, fresh, off the press, every single night, price action on Bitcoin and all your favorite altcoins. You want me to go over an alt? I'm a small channel, man. You know what's cool about small channels? You don't have to super chat in. You can't even do it. So, drop your altcoins in the chat, and I'll happily go over them for you guys. Much love. KJB wants to look at the total crypto market cap, and this will speak volumes. Why? Because the total crypto market cap didn't make an all-time high yet. Why did it not? Did it not, or did it? Yeah, baby. It didn't. Total crypto market cap is still not an all-time high. But Bitcoin is. So that speaks volumes to where we currently stand, right? Bitcoin is at an all-time high, but the total crypto market cap, there's still about $32 billion that was in the altcoins the last time Bitcoin was at about $108,000. That is not there now. So that just shows how much dominance Bitcoin does have over the course of, how much control it has over the entire market right now. So, here's what I'm thinking. So, like the word so, not you so in the chat. So, what am I looking at here for total cryptocurrency market cap? I do see a move higher. I do also see this. We're at the 786, man. We are. A little bit of resistance. Is this what we need to break in order for the alts to go absolutely bananas? I think so. I like, look at that. That's beautiful. 786. We're getting a little bit of a rejection right here off the past couple hours. You know, that's not gospel, right? These are two very, very new candles, right? This candle did just open on the daily just 3 hours ago. But we got to get over that 786 or total cryptocurrency market cap. Bitcoin can continue to scream, and this can just nonchalantly staircase up. It doesn't have to vertically go up. Now, we get the breakout here. I don't believe that will all be BTC. I don't think that it will, because in order to break here, you're going to need to have either Bitcoin's going to have to be sitting at like 120, 125, right? Because $30 billion bucks, that'd be another at least. No. That could all go into Bitcoin. So yeah, it's interesting to see we are not at an all-time high for total crypto market cap, as Bitcoin does sit at an all-time high. It shows that the altcoins are really struggling and have bled to Bitcoin over the past couple of months since January. Very interesting. But yeah, that's total crypto market cap. Still kind of in the same staircase up pattern that Bitcoin is in right now, but you can see as the altcoins struggle, man, that this has been lackluster comparatively to BTC. BTC is way up here right now, cracking the prior highs, and total crypto market cap is definitely lagging behind. The daily stochastics are reset, ready to go. We broke out of the daily flag. We did have that whipsaw price action. I agree, but lackluster. Yeah, lackluster comparatively. Yeah, lackluster comparatively to what, yeah, this is the flag that we did, we had on BTC. Lackluster comparatively, lackluster comparatively to what we've seen for Bitcoin and the dominance Bitcoin has had in the space. That being said, this target of the flag takes you all the way up the pole, baby. All the way up the pole, all the way to 3.74 trillion, and that would be an all-time high, and that'd be a blue skies breakout. That may be what we need for the altcoins to start rotating to the downside. An interesting thought process, interesting thoughts. Thank you for putting that on my radar. And yeah, that just shows the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is skyrocketing, robbing coins from the alts. And this shows, is there new money coming into the space? Is there new money coming on into the space? Or are people just done with altcoins and saying, I want Bitcoin? And I'm saying, screw it, I'm just going to hold Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin's the only thing that's really outperforming. Bitcoin's outperforming everything, and it has for the past 3 years. I'm done with the altcoins. I'm done with the scam coins. I'm diving on into Bitcoin. And there are people that view every coin except for Bitcoin as scam coins. And, I don't believe that. But you know what does say that? Dominance. Dominance says it all. If you type in whatever.d, right? Let's use ADA. Dominance. Is Cardano on the weekly, look at this compared to Bitcoin. When you value this comparatively to Bitcoin, you're at an 80% loss in the last 4 years if you're in Cardano. Now, could you say it's a double bottom? Sure. But at the end of the day, right, we're wondering if Cardano is ever going to catch up, right? Because in order for Cardano to catch up, what would it have to pump? It would have to pump 385% comparatively to Bitcoin. So Cardano would have to be sitting at 12 to 15 bucks to get up to, the value where it's shared with Bitcoin back here in September of 2021. That's 3 years. That's 3 years and 80% down draw on Cardano. And it looks like this on almost every altcoin, everybody. I'm not picking on Cardano. It looks like that on almost every altcoin with the exception of XRP, which had that monumental run-up for sure. All right, so, total crypto market cap. You want me to pull an extension? From the swing high to the low. So there's two ways you can pull this. You can pull this from the range right here to the highs up at 4.63. Yeah, that would be a monstrous move, man. That would be a monstrous move up to 6 trillion. Could happen. You could also view it like this. You could also view the extension like this. From the swing high of the prior range to the swing low, our last bull market, you could also view it like this. Kind of lines up with one another. We can come up to the 1.618 Fibonacci extension for the total cryptocurrency market cap. Interesting, very interesting. All right. But yeah, that's Fib extension. I do see a lot higher for total crypto market cap. Don't altcoins have to get some of it? Would it make sense for Bitcoin just to rip to 200K? That'd be funny because Jim Cramer was like, no way, Bitcoin's going to 200K. Not happening this year. No way. That'd be so funny to see it get wrecked. Crazy. 15-minute. Man, you know what's been popping up on my radar? Look at Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid at $30. Boy, you thought you'd never see it. A 3X from just about a month and a half ago. Interesting. Okay, hey, Martin Hornick. Hey, thanks for hopping on in the chat, man. Absolute legend for dropping on in the chat. My first time seeing you. Thank you for being here. All right, the monthly total cryptocurrency market cap. Yeah, it aligns with that 4.4 to 6. And you could see 8 to 10, right, in the event that you got the Fibonacci extension diving up to that 3 point, anywhere between the 3 and the 4.236 Fibonacci extensions. If we're incredibly bullish, if we get those macro news drivers, I agree with you, KJB, we could top out higher. I totally agree. All right, so, yep, we looked at that. Gold going into Bitcoin, that is a very, thank you for that thought, Luke. That put that put me in that ponder mood. I make that for my thumbnails sometimes. You see me like this. Right? Yeah. So yeah, that got me thinking, man. That got me thinking. Thank you. All right. Martin Homick wants to look at ZBCN. Yeah, man, absolutely. I'd be happy to hop on into your favorite altcoin, or your, I don't know if it's your favorite, but in your altcoin, man. Thank you for dropping that on our radar. Yo, booming, baby. Is this the one that's messing with? Hey, tell me if I'm wrong. Is this the one messing with payroll? Is this the one? Seamless flows and real world value. Zebek. Interesting. Shout out to, you know who told me about this? Shout out to my uncle. My uncle was putting this on my radar a couple days ago, and he was like, hey, man, check out this coin. And I did a little bit, I took a little peek, and I was like, man, it's a little low market cap for me, but man, getting that rippage to the upside, interesting. So I think this is the one that has to do with payroll. I'm going to text him after this and say congratulations, man. That's super awesome to see. ZBCN getting out of a tight range. Flipped this range into support. Tried over here, failed, fell back into the range. Resistance, got above support. Beautiful support resistance flip right there. And you're making what? Higher high, higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high. Where's your next higher low? I wouldn't chase this, that's for sure. If you're looking for a leverage position, I would not chase this. Shout out to you if you're in it. And of course, I'd hold it. Yeah, right? But I'd look for a higher low. And where would that higher low likely come in? Well, we don't know yet because you're still on that rippage, baby. You're on that rippage. If ZBCN comes up to here, this is the area where I'd be interested in getting in at this at the 0.618. So ZBCN rips up to here, I'd be interested in getting here and looking for that bigger, juicier move to the upside for potential an all-time high breakout. And this thing, look at it on the daily. This thing could go for it. You've only traded here, you know, since it's been listed on Bybit for what, a week? You're getting close to an all-time high break, right? I'm gonna put that level on my chart. ZBCN looks hot, man. And, you know, partnerships and stuff coming up into this coin, if you do truly get that, and we do get a massive altcoin season, there's going to be a couple that rise from the ashes. These low market cap gems. Where does ZBCN sit on crypto coin market cap? I'll say this. If you guys want to... 241. Wow. Gaining some respect in the crypto space here. Over the last month. 171%. You're looking at under $100 million market cap not long ago. Under a $70 million market cap. If you want to see a 10x in this game, I'll tell you what, you got to look at if you want to see a 10x in a relatively quick fashion, fast period of time, 10, 20x, this coin could do it. Why? Because it would only need to get to about a $2 billion market cap, right, for a 10x. If it's something that's really bullish, say this thing gets to 20 billion, and we don't know where the altcoins are going to go. If altcoin season starts, those things will definitely be on the table. Let me remind you guys of the Uniswap run where it went from $3 all the way up to about $58 in the span of just a couple of weeks back in 2021. Can Zebek do something very, very similar? That's where Uniswap started before it went on its monumental tear. It could definitely happen. Crazy. It's got a little bit of a community behind it. I love how most of the circulating supply is out and you have a locked supply, a max supply. That's something very, very important. I don't like seeing the infinity symbol there. It just gives me the heebie-jeebies, everybody. It is what it is. Boom to the upside. Had AMA on uphold today. Yeah. And hey, man, that's where my uncle invests too, man. I don't want to talk about my family, man, but he did put this on my radar. Shout out to my uncle, man. Shout out to my uncle making some of the hottest. He was in XRP before that massive rip to the upside. Shout out to him. Ethereum looks like it wants to go on some legs here. Watch your altcoins, baby. Watch your altcoins. Maybe in the hour they're down, but Ethereum trying to make a little bit of a pump-a-lamp, baby. Pump-a-lamp to the upside. We'll see if it does get that here on the 3-minute. What's Bitcoin looking at? BTC. Are we getting close again? Are we getting close? Oh, I was looking on the weekly. I was like, that's the 1 minute. Yeah, we're getting close, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting close. Here we go with the candle body closures. All right, you guys saw me drink like 3 cups of water. I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back. Count to 30. I'll be right back. The game, baby. We back in the game. Hey, you know what's crazy? You know what I hate, guys? I know you guys feel this. For those of you who live with ladies at the home, and you guys don't stand when you pee, because I don't anymore. I have to sit down when I pee, unless I'm in public, unless I'm at a urinal. Which, God bless the urinal, man. One of the best inventions ever. I couldn't imagine waiting in those lines that I see the ladies dive on into whenever they're at like the airport or whatever. At the zoo, I went to the zoo the other day, and the line was out the door. I was like, oh my goodness. Miss me with that. But thank God for the urinal. Shout out to all the men out there that get to use that benefit. But when you live with ladies, right, you get one of two options. As we watch this, we get one of two options. You have A, you can sit when you pee, right? You just have this toilet seat lid down. It prevents you from getting pee everywhere. It is what it is. And that's the option that I choose. Or you can just pee all over the seat and, you know, do whatever you want to do, clean it up, whatever. I haven't had a lot of success with aiming because sometimes I get that tripod. You guys know what I'm talking about? When you pee and then you get that triple stream, and then you're not even peeing in the toilet, you're just peeing around it, and you're hitting the lid. So I was like, man, it's just easier to sit. It's just easier to sit. It is what it is. So when I sit down, I hate when the penis tip touches the inside of the toilet bowl. Oh, but that I'm like, man, at the end you gotta pump the Germ X, and you gotta it's a disaster. It's a disaster, man. I hate that. Like, what kind of germs are inside there? And I know they're the germs I made, right? Because I used that toilet. But hey, all right, back into the charts, baby. Back into the charts. I know you guys can relate to what I'm feeling. All right, all right. Thank you for sticking around with me while I had to unload about like 10 cups of water that I drink during the stream. We've waited for it all day long, or all stream long, every way. Look at this. We're trying to push. Come on, Bitcoin. We can do it. You guys know that song? Don't you know? Pump it up. We about to pump it up. Don't you know? Pump it up. I know they do it. I know you're thinking about that song in your head. I wish I had it, man. I wish I had the ability to play stuff. I stream over here on OBS, and wow, that is a little trippy right there. But I got to add some more scenes and stuff like that in here and mess with the stream, make it a little more interactive. All right, but yeah, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you guys are new here. I appreciate you hopping on in as we watch this all-time high break, potentially, baby. Potentially. It looks good. It looks juicy. Looks like we could be in for more for the upside. You could even say, hey, Boys Crypto, I'm seeing a little bit of a flag here on the 3-minute time frame. A little bit of an ascending triangle. That'll take us on a ripper, baby. That'll take us on a ripper. It's potential. It's potential. It is the smaller, let me tweak this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's a smaller time frame, definitely higher risk, but the potential is there, baby. And we're going to get some massive FOMO in the space. Keep in mind, when do the Asian markets open? Who knows? I do. In 2 minutes, baby. In 2 minutes, the Shanghai Stock Exchange does start to open for their normal trading hours. Well, they're already open, I think, for pre-market. But oh yeah, we could get some, if we get a surge of volume, this could be like, bloop, to the upside. Bloop. It could happen really quick. Or bloop to the it could happen. It could happen. We're about to have that surge of volume in about 45 seconds here. So we'll see what we get. It could happen. I'm not saying we could go sideways. It is what it is. King Louie, thanks for being here. Split the hole open first. Split the hole. You talking about no. You talking about when you pinch the tip, dude, and it gets like circular? Yeah, I mean you can't. There might be something inside there, man. Like, what if I had a kidney stone that I passed and it got stuck, like, right at the end? Like, you would know that, right? It's crazy. But, yeah, that tripod deal, for those, I know you ladies don't understand, but the guys know. And sometimes it, goes hand in hand with activities. But, yeah, that tripod, man, it'll get you every time. It'll get you every time. And I used to store my toilet paper on the back of the toilet, and one time that tripod hit the toilet paper. Now I don't do that anymore, right? Wild times. But looking really, really good. Here we go. We could potentially get it. Let's get that squeeze. 21 moving with a price action. Ascending triangle, a little bit more than that, right? You could even call this a pennant right here. A little bit of a bull pennento here on the 3-minute time frame. It's ugly, it's sloppy, and it's gonna be, right? Why? Because we're in all-time high territory, baby. There's people taking profit. There's people that are trying to dive on in, FOMO, get the best prices that they can for this asset, and that could be down to the dollar. Here we go, baby. Come on, Bitcoin. You can do it, baby. You can do this. Big push. Big push. Maybe that was the support resistance flip right there. Potential. Big push, Bitcoin. Push. Don't you know? Pump it up. We are $150 away from the all-time high. I'm not ignoring the chat. I promise, everybody. Much love, much love. We will take a look at XLM for you, MH. Thank you for dropping that in. We looked at ZBCN. I think that thing could continue massively to the upside, especially as Bitcoin is taking the reins here. Ethereum getting a little bit of a love here as well, trying to do the same breakout as BTC. How's dominance looking? I got to take a look. We're going to get rid of some of this craziness here right here. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, I don't want to get rid of coin market cap. Boop, boop, boop. Real quick. We got to get dominance up here. We got to see what is in charge right now, Bitcoin or the alts. Bitcoin, right? Taking a little back here from the altcoins. It's crazy. This thing never wants to drop. It never wants to drop. But on the hourly, wants to take more from the alts, right? And you're looking, what is this on the, I was pulling a fib on that. The daily is starting red, but man, if Bitcoin goes on a ripper, who knows what can happen to dominance for sure. The last time Bitcoin dumped massively, you had a candle like this. When Bitcoin pumps massively, you could also get a candle like that. This just skews dominance very, very massively. So Bitcoin, go up here at 110,000. Can you believe we're saying that? We were just at 74K, ladies and gentlemen. We were just at 74K. So yeah, we'll take a look at XLM. That's the next altcoin on my radar. And if I missed any of you guys earlier, drop it on in the chat. Yeah, so that looks juicy to me, man. You can see continuation of the upside. I see at least a test of the prior highs. You're above all major resistances. Why would you not go there? The 21 is a little far right now on the daily. I wouldn't chase. I would wait for some kind of flag or something. You're going to get some kind of consolidation at some point, whether you rip up massively and come down. That's when I would look for the 618. If you get some kind of consolidation, you could get an upward sloping flag too, like this. But this line, the 21, needs to come up into the price action, right? That's one of Sam Price's teaching, the crypto lifers, one of the hottest, not by looks, but by like trades, one of the hottest traders in the game. He's absolutely awesome. You guys could learn a lot from him. He does stream in the morning, just about 30 minutes after market open here in the US. So give him a follow, the crypto lifer, man, an absolute legend. Changed my life with the way he trades, and I learned a lot of what I know from him. I got to give him credit. Got to give credit where credit is due, man. It is what, you got to give credit where credit is due. And the Crypto Lifer is one of the best teachers in this game. So I highly recommend if you are a beginning trader or something like that, even if you're a beginning trader, I am very comfortable here, like teaching people. And again, this is not financial advice. And it's not financial advice on his channel either. But, he's a great channel to follow as well. Just streams at a different time. So thank you for, thank you for following me here and, going over and giving my friend, the Crypto Lifer, my teacher, the Crypto Lifer, a follow as well. All right, so that's looking good. Bitcoin looking to test it. We are right there. We are, $30. Come on, Bitcoin. Let's go. And you can see this. What we got? We got the Asian market open. The Asian market did open. We can see we can see like all-time high after all-time high after all-time high. Shorts about to get liquidated right here just above that wick at about, what do we need to hit? 110.824. We haven't hit that yet. A lot of people's stop losses probably right above. That's where the shorts are putting their stop losses, right? They're trying to catch the high. They're not going to, a lot of them aren't going to put their stop losses up here. They're putting it right above the high. They're trying to catch the exact high. And as long as they do that, we're going to continue to truck to the upside, right? Until people start having actual faith in this rally, we're going to keep moving to the upside, right? Until that faith gets there, until FOMO gets there, until retail optimism gets there. And then that's when you'll know. Now, when that despair, when it's like, okay, we could go down, when there's no more of that, that's when you know, that's when we're approaching the top. That's when you know, baby. You'll be at the grocery store and, Sally Lou is right there scanning your groceries at the grocery store, and she'll be like, have you seen the price of Bitcoin? When she's never seen it in her whole life. That's when you know, wow. This random lady at the grocery store knows, and I just heard somebody talking about it in the aisle, and my mom just called and was asking, hey, you've seen Bitcoin? That's our all-time high. When you start getting that, that's when you got to think as a trader, all right, I've had my piece. It's true. How many people bought XRP over $3? Anybody in the chat buy XRP over $3? That's when everybody was talking about it. I don't hear anybody talk about XRP anyway. It's just a good, I'm not hating on XRP. But HBAR, same way. Like XCN, Onyx Coin, everyone was talking about Onyx Coin. You don't hear people talking about Onyx Coin anymore, do you? Why? Because it's not on that parabolic FOMO area where that needs to get to for retail to pump prices up through Valhalla, through the moon, open up those 100x leverage longs and ride it to oblivion. Boom to the upside for BTC at $110,000 for the greatest asset in the world. $111,000 for the greatest asset in the world, looking to continue to the upside out of this beautiful ascending triangle / flag that we got going on here on the charts. Let me get rid of this right here. All-time high cracked, baby. We have cracked it, or just met it. No, we cracked it. We definitely cracked it. Come on, Bitcoin. Maybe come back to the 21. I really would have thought, right? Like, I really would think that when we got up here, we'd have something more dramatic to the upside. You know what I mean? Like, are there people shorting up in this range? It could be, but I'm expecting more of a, and I'm expecting altcoins to do something very, very similar. Come on, Ethereum. Look at that 1 minute. Like, altcoins are so sensitive. They're so sensitive right now to BTC. Come on, SUI, continue that truck to the upside. Back to that entry point there for that trade. Looking good, looking good. But man, I want to see SUI do some massive damage, and I think it will out of the flag that is in. I'll go over that in a little bit. But we can't take another nuke to the downside, I'll tell you that. I'll be the first one to tell you that. You start nuking to the downside and dominance starts screaming. Where's dominance? Yeah, look at this. Bitcoin takes a 1 minute candle fart. Your altcoin's gonna do like it's gonna dip. We're getting above the 1 minute 200. This is a moving train that cannot be stopped. Look at that 4-hour candle on Bitcoin dominance. 21 screaming up in the price action. Man, this is crazy. This is craziness. That 786 has to save us. And right now, honestly, like Linkin Park says, we're living on a prayer, baby. Like, we're halfway there. We're more than halfway there, Linkin Park. And he says, whoa, living on a prayer. And we are. We're living on that 786 prayer. And this dominance needs to start rolling. It needs to start rolling fast. Or some of these altcoins are going to get severely punished. For sure. And wouldn't that be crazy if Bitcoin just went? Do we have to have an altcoin season? That's a question we got to ask too. Do we? I don't know. I couldn't answer that question. We don't have to. No, we don't have to. But that gnat, man. There we go. Another all-time high for BTC. 1109450. 951 I'm seeing here on the 1 minute chart for Binance. But yeah, you see Bitcoin take a little fart to the downside. It's like every altcoin's like like Taz the Tasmanian Devil, man. It's like they just stumble, and they stumble very, very hard. And you can see that right over here on the 1 minute when it does flash red over the course whenever you do have a big red 1 minute candle. But I'm looking for a massive squeeze here. Let's go. Congratulations to everybody that is in the hottest asset in the game across markets all across the globe. This is the best performing asset ever in history, in human history, and it continues to show that we are early, baby. And I still think this is. I said, a week ago that anything under $100,000 is a steal for Bitcoin, in my opinion, and you should be getting it as much as you can at the prices underneath 100K. 80K look great, 74 look great, 50K look great, 30K look great, 97K looked great, 100K looked great. Now that we're above that, it's like, are these still good prices? And in my opinion, they are, because I think this asset is going to $10 million in the next 10, 20 years. Next 10 years or so, $10 million bucks. Or, no, not 10 years. 20 years for 10 million. I think $1 million, 750 to $1 million in the next 5 to 10. And then 10 million in the next 20. I think it will get there, and I think it will get there very, very fast. It has to, right? Because why do I think right now with the current amount of money in the system that we're going to get to those prices? No, but the governments across the world, the M2 global money supply keeps screaming to the upside. And the more money there is, the more it could go into assets. You could argue that the entire stock market, the gold price, everything is just based off of what? Countless money printing by irresponsible governments across the world. This is the one asset that fixes that. This is the asset that fixes all that mindless corruption that I believe goes on in the government with that mindless money printing, baby. Ultimately, look at where we are in the stock market. Doesn't everybody like, man, I hope the Fed cuts rates. I hope the Fed cuts rates. In other words, the markets are like, man, in other words, right? Same words. Man, I hope we turn on the printer. I hope we turn on the money printer. I hope we print more money. I hope we inflate the dollar. That's what the same statement, right? Same statement. Cutting rates inflates the dollar. It is what like that's the reality of it, right? So in a way, if the governments keep printing money, eventually this is going to get to $10 million. You ever been to a country with a $1 million bill? That's how hyperinflation works. Eventually you get to a point of no return. Man, you look at Ethereum taking a little bit of, look at that, man, just that rollover on the 1 minute, man, that's crazy. Bitcoin doing the same thing though. Interesting. But yeah, that's where we kind of currently stand as we go throughout the market tonight. Nice rejection candle there on the 3 minute, but that's way too early to say. All right, here we go. Diving on into the chat. You know you're bullish when you can't take a pee when you're taking the eyes off the chart. Man, I know. And it's so bad for your kidneys when you hold it in. I'm not about to do that. Absolutely not. I don't want kidney cancer. No, thank you. All right, yeah, I get that snake's tongue, and they call it pee goes everywhere except for in the toilet bowl. Yeah, man, it happens. The tripod, ladies, the tripod. It's not our fault. We can't help it. Like sometimes the biology, like we don't aim at the floor. You think we aim at the floor? No. Sometimes you have a tri-stream or a bi-stream, and it just goes everywhere. And then you got to pick what stream. It's just a disaster. Otherwise, we'd be squatting into the toilet while we were standing, right? Like that, yeah. So I just cut the losses, man. Now I just sit. I sit all the time when I pee. I risk the penis head toilet bowl connection. Sometimes I get that the kiss. They kiss each other. I don't like that, man. I don't like that. But it is what it is. All right, hey man, what's going on? PMG Corey, thanks for hopping back on in, man. You're an absolute legend. Yeah, I had to watch, man. We got right there. We were so close. Come on, let's see if we get this retrace here, and then a boom to the upside, possibly. Man, the altcoin's taking a beat down. Look at Ethereum rolling. You'll see it here on the 1 minute. Look at that. All the altcoins bowing to the king today, baby, and likely going to do so until the Bitcoin run is over, right? I see Bitcoin all-time high. When it's on that all-time high break, I think we wait for consolidation, and then the altcoins will have their time. They're going to have their moment in the sun, I believe. I think that's coming, right? But, as Bitcoin's going to need to get a little more choppy price action. What I mean by that is like on the 4 hour, right? A day where we're not moving like this, multi-thousands of dollars, where we trade within a couple $100 of range throughout the course of the entire day, $1,000 in a range, a percent range for Bitcoin. That range bouncing between a couple of times, that's all we need to give the alts the juice they need to rip, baby, to absolutely rip. Yeah, I feel you, Luke. I feel you, man. All right, here we go. Diving on in, I wanted to look at another coin here. Somebody posted it up. XLM, MH. Man, I didn't forget about you. I got you. MH wants to look at XLM. Shout out to you, man. Thanks for being here with me since the beginning. You're an absolute legend. Thank you. All right, XLM on perpetuals. Yeah, we're still cooking, baby. We are cooking. We're cooking. All right, XLM. Let's look at it here. All right, so XLM. Got a beautiful, this looks hot, man. This looks hot. I think we went over, did we go over it the other day? Or no, this had to have been a while back. So right now for XLM, you're in a series right now on the macro. You made a lower low, but you made an equal high and a higher low. Higher high, higher low. Where'd that higher low come in? Let me get rid of this fib. We can see we bounced off the 786. Looks juicy. Coming on in here, you're on top of a high volume node that is currently supporting you as we speak. Previous resistance, right? Resistance, downward sloping resistance channel. You got above it, and now it's your support. That is a breakout and a retest. And that's what's telling me, like a lot of these coins, the altcoins are sitting in such je ne sais quoi, like, I think that's the right word. I don't know. I think that's like French or something. But it's like perfection areas where it's like, you're like baited into a long right now. It's like, come on, baby, long me. You're above a high volume node right here out of the inverted shoulder, head, right shoulder, like almost all the other altcoins we looked at on the stream. Shoulder, head, right shoulder, the pop to the upside. And we got that support resistance flip. Come on, I know you want to long me. You got above this rise or this falling wedge. You got above this falling wedge, and now I'm support resistance flip. Come on, I know you want to long me. That's how the altcoins are speaking to me right now. It's just a reality, right? Like, look, whoa, bounce for Bitcoin off the top of that support channel. Good sign. ETH, bounce, massive bounce on ETH as Bitcoin dominance does start to roll. I'm looking at the 1 minute time frame. Take what I'd say with a grain of salt, right? It's just on the 1 minute time frame. I'm just kind of live commentating. I can't imagine how sports announcers do it. How do they know all the names of people? They're going to all sorts of different games. How do they know the names of everybody immediately when they look at the number? That must be the craziest memorization game of their lives. Shoulder, head, right shoulder says we got more to the upside. Not just the shoulder, head, right shoulder. The macro for XLM looks hot, baby. You look good to go for further upside. Out of a macro, 618-786 got the 786 kiss, baby. The kiss, like we get the penis head to the front of the toilet bowl when we sit down to pee. You get that boom to the 786. Out of the shoulder, head, right shoulder, boom, heading out of the golden pocket right now. Looks to me, and then this isn't Boys Crypto saying it. This is the chart saying, hey, on that breakout and retest, XLM looks to move. And for those of you who don't think that it can. Let me remind you, back here in November, just a few short months ago, this thing went on a 7.5x in just 17 days, right? Just 17 days. Can it do it again? No, you're not going to get a 17x, right, in 17 days. Because why? You're sitting so much higher. How much higher are we at from the lows right here? You're 200% up on the lows. And that flagpole represents that same measured move, but just from much higher prices, triple the price. So you're only going to get reduced, right, about 1/3 of the price action. And that's about 169%. Still a monumental move, and this is something that you can take on leverage as well. And it sets you up, man. Look at that cup and handle in the weekly. You got the cup, the handle. Goodness, man. Like there's some things that you just look at and you're just like, wow, that looks cooking on the daily, man. That looks really, really good. One of the hottest setups in the game. I'm actually going to screenshot this, baby. I'm going to screenshot this. I'm going to put out a long scalp idea here, a long swing trade idea for XLM. Maybe even getting in myself. No, I can't really get in myself, man. Why? Because I have all my capital in this thing, everything that I'm willing to lose in the game right now. I'm all in on that, the leverage trade on SUI and then spot, right? I have cash on the side to open up some leverage trades, but I'm gonna be very, very selective in the ones that why am I doing this like this? I'm gonna be very, very selective in the trades that I open right here as Bitcoin is sitting at the highs and dominance does not seem to want to give. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. Dude, this is a 9-to-1. This is almost a 10-to-1 risk-reward ratio trade. You can take that on 5x, and you could potentially, 6x your investment, 7x your investment. It looks hot. It looks hot. And you can take that to liquidation if you wanted to, all the way down to that stop loss that's going to be right beneath the prior low. And why do I have the stop loss beneath this prior low? Because if you crack this low right here, you threaten to change market structure. You're like, okay, I made a higher high, but then I made a lower high. And then what's going to likely happen? Then you have to speculate. You'd have to speculate from that lower high that you come up here to the 618-786 and you make, or from that lower low, and you come up there to make a lower high. And then you continue down on that, the crypto abyss, as they say. But yeah, that looks hot, man. That looks really, really good. I'm taking a screenshot. I'm going to post that, baby. I'm going to post that. I'll post that on my Twitter tonight. I appreciate you dropping that on my radar. Looks good, looks good. Come on, Ethereum. Get that pump, man. We all want the altcoins, man. We all want the altcoins to give a move. And some things selectively are moving right here on the 15-minute, on the 5-minute. Looks pretty solid. What is SPX, man? Why does that ring a bell? Oh, it's the thing that's up 10,000% this year. Yeah. I don't know if they have a partnership or something like that. Yeah, yo, 100x your money. 100x your money in this asset over the course of the past... since September of 2024, that's incredible. That's incredible. All right, everybody. So we tried to get that bounce. Failed so far. Let's leave it on the 5. Man, this is so... I don't want to butcher it too much, Another time frame gives me something a little clearer to look at. The 7 potentially. I like the 7-minute, man. The 7 minutes cool. Another thing I learned from the Crypto Lifer, man, I like the 7 minutes. 7 minutes cool. 21, 7-minute time frame. I like it. I don't know, it's smooth. It's a little bit slower than the 5. But a little bit faster than the 15, you know what I mean? It kind of, when I'm confused between the 5 and the 15, I'll look at the 7, and it kind of gives me that bias. I like it. All right, so yeah, that's kind of what we got forming here for BTC. Still consolidating. Would have imagined we would have got a stronger rip out of the liquidations that we had here above 110.8, and we only got to what? What was the high? 111,000 even over here on Binance. on the futures contracts anyway. All right. KJB called XLM. Yeah, XLM. Oh, sorry, KJB. Oh, yeah. Credit goes to KJB on that one, man. Yeah, MH, thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, XLM looks good. This thing looks massive on the macro. Now, I'd still be looking at Bitcoin dominance, right? Because if Bitcoin dominance continues to rip, despite how good these setups look, like they could be lackluster pumps comparatively to Bitcoin if dominance continues to rip. That's why it's the most important chart for me in crypto at the present moment. All right, diving on in. PMG Corey, I've always sat while I pee. Hey, man, shout out to you. Shout out to you. I know the ladies. I know the ladies happy for that, man. The kids, whatever. Yeah, we're riding. XLM and XRP kind of run together throughout history. That what I've seen, yeah. But you could say that and I group XRP, XLM, and HBAR all in the same category. Why? Because they all attack the same narrative. They're all the ISO 2022 coins, and they all had very similar runs back in November. Similar runs being they made money back in November, right? During the altcoin season run, they not only made money, you 5-6x your investment, and they're the only assets that are sitting above where a lot of the altcoins are sitting at their bear market lows, right? Not even at their bear market lows, just at relative lows right now. They're positioned and have made stronger moves in the market and now have a much larger community behind all those coins. All of them, I'm not saying they're all the same, but I'm saying that they all have that same ISO 2022. They all ran very, very hard in November, making higher lows than the highs that they've had over the past couple of years, with the exception of XRP, of course, and getting that monumental move to the upside. HBAR especially. HBAR was one of the hotter setups that we did put out the other day on the stream, and I still stand by that. How is HBAR doing? Hedera, baby, number 17 on the day, up. Wow, got a little bit of a dip there, but up 3%. Up 3%. Slowly trekking along from that support resistance flip on the inverted shoulder. Head, right shoulder, baby. All right, let's see if we can get it. Man, this is crazy price action. Look at this 1 minute. This is ETH. The 1 minute chart, man. The 1 minute chart. The most treacherous chart in all of crypto. It's true. Try trading this thing, man. Try trading this thing. The scalping is tough. There are people that do it. I'd recommend when you're scalping, make sure you're not getting eaten alive by fees. That's something is important too, especially if you're using market orders. Never, ever use market orders when you are placing a leveraged position. I don't care if you're like, oh my gosh, I want to get it. The fee you're going to pay is 3 times the amount that you'd originally pay if you just limit it in. Put the limit order and take that little bar and drag it up into price action. Every single time, do not mark it in. Do not do it. You're throwing away money. Because that limit order, dragging it in, acts the same as a market order, but it's themed as a limit order on your exchange. So you're not going to pay that 0.3%. You'll pay that 0.1%, right? So important. It saves you so much money over the course of your trading. And my stops are market orders. I'll take the fee. That's okay. I'll take that. When it hits my price, I want out. I'll pay the fee. I don't care. Give me out. But for take profit orders, limit orders, baby. Limit orders. And for getting into trades, limit in. Always limit in. I highly recommend that. All right. SUI making moves. I hope so, man. SUI! Back to $4 man. Look, I'm ride or dying by this trade, man. This thing, I will make money on this SUI trade. I've already rode the horse, baby. We rode it. We rode it from when we got in at the highs just the other day. We've had this trade open since what? The 14th? I rode it. No, we didn't. No, we had it open since the 18th. I rode it to the lows. On a 4x leverage trade, we're down 40% on the position. I was like, not good, right? Good risk management, of course. But SUI has returned to our entry price. And boy, does that feel good. Does that feel good? And what was I doing here? Well, out of a breakout, I was looking for the breakout and continuation out of low stochastics. And I was like, it looks good, the curve. I said, we're in, baby, we're in. And I got wrecked. I didn't get wrecked. Not realized wrecked. Realized versus unrealized. Unrealized, I was like, wrecked, right? We were getting wrecked. But now, we're sitting at break even on the trade. And then that feels really, really good comparatively to where we've been. And now, look at that. You have another layer of support beneath you, right? Or a confirmed level of support. Resistance, resistance, resistance. Oh, we broke above. Tap it as support. Continuation to the upside. I think SUI's going to do some massive damage. This bull run has major partnerships. I won't dive into that tonight as Bitcoin's pushing the all-time high. Okay, I will, because I'll shill it, because it's my number one altcoin, baby. I think this thing's going to do a massive, I think $20 a coin is not unreasonable for SUI. There is a large amount of the circulating supply that is not out yet, but based on the white paper, they have a locked vesting period for a lot of the team. Let's see, what else? They got the Pokemon partnership, Peaky Blinders, Raoul Pal, 70% of his money, one of the most legendary investors in this space. He said on an interview just the other day, I have 70% of my money in the SUI ecosystem, something that I think is going to massively outperform over the course of this bull run. I think it's going to be one of the altcoin leaders, baby. I think it's going to be one of the altcoin leaders, and I expect SUI to do some massive havoc over the course of the bull run. That was my little shill. But do whatever you want. You guys do what you want. That's my number one altcoin for the season, and it's gonna stay that way. It's gonna stay that way. Likely gonna stay that way. I'll let you guys know on my Twitter at BOYCECRYPTO102 if I do change any of my spot holdings, or if I decide to sell anything or buy anything. You guys will see it first over there on my X. All right. Yeah, looking good now. Hanging on, PNG Corey. I'm telling you what, man. You know that sphincter thing, the thing that closes your butthole? That thing was doing the carrot cutter the other day when it was sitting at 360. I was like, we got so close to the stop loss, man. It was at like 349 was the stop loss. I was like, Yeah, absolutely wild. Yeah, KJB, thank you for XLM. Still at 0.2. SUI making moves. Yeah, absolutely. 5x SUI just got back to my entry a bit ago. You're 5x, man. I'm on 4x leverage right now. I'm on 4x, baby. I'm with you, PMG Corey. We are riding on this coin, man. We're going to ride it, and we're going to see Bitcoin dominance. We're going to speak this into existence. Here it is. Bitcoin dominance is at the lower high. Look, think of this. Imagine if you could picture us 3 months from now, and we're zooming back at this moment, right? And we're looking at the first lower high, which leads us in the alt season, which very well could be right now. It could be higher, not gonna lie, but it could be right now. And that's why I called it the other day. I just see this area is such a likely area for a lower high after that macro market structure shit. When the altcoins run, as you've seen the other day, they will run. They will suck money out of Bitcoin like nothing else. This was a 5% drop for Bitcoin dominance over the course of 5 days. You saw what Ethereum did, a 45% run. And that was nothing. We're currently in the 60% region. I see dominance potentially dropping to 40, 30, potentially even lower, right? In the event that we get a historical alt season like we've never seen before. Possible. It's possible. You drop out of that flag, you're coming down to 60, 83. That'd be another 45% for Ethereum? Could be even more. Why? Or not even more. But it could be even more violent. Why? Bitcoin's sitting at another all-time high, baby. So that move is going to be equally as violent, likely. I just see, imagine looking back and catching the highs. What do you have to do? You have to sack up, everybody. That's what you have to do. To all my ladies, I don't know, I hope that's not offensive. But the cup and handle, you got to sack up. It'll take balls. We say it all the time. It takes balls to buy at the low. It takes balls that you have to throw into the wheelbarrow like in the South Park episode to buy at the low. And that's what I see us doing. I see us getting in at the confirmation of a market structure shift out of that cup and handle that we're seeing on this massive 2-hour time frame. Oh, cup handle, give it to us, baby. Giant gap in the VRVP. Oh, my uvula. It kind of went crazy there. Kind of went like that, you know? I'm not saying that it's alt season. I'm saying that the charts are giving a high probability that this is a lower high. That's all I'm saying. But I did write Boys Crypto calls alt season. I did write that. I had to. It's alt season, baby. What do you want? Come on, Sui. Keep pushing. Oh, I love Sui, man. I love Sui. Yeah, so a lot of things going for that blockchain. I want to see this dominance start rolling over, man. Rolling over. All right, let's do it. Sphincter, dude. Yeah, I would have never spelled that correctly. I'm not gonna lie. I thought there would have been. Yeah, I would have never spelled that right. No way. All right, Velodrome Finance. Let's dive on into that. Velodrome, Aerodrome, Ondo, a lot of those coins did get a little bit of a pop-up back here in 2024 when we had that massive rally to the upside. Velodrome was actually more violent, I think, than the rest, was it not? From where, like, we'll call it the 8th, right? When Trump target 367% move to the upside. All right, so I think Velodrome can do some massive damage, right? And here's why. Velodrome, Aerodrome, Ondo, I think a lot of those, real world asset finance coins. Aerodrome's the number one on base. I like that. Velodrome kind of mixes a lot of different chains together. I also like that diversity that it does show. However, it is sitting beneath a very key support resistance flip area. Sitting right here. Support, 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 support. You flip beneath. And so far, the bulls have not been able to hold that area as support, but you're pressing on it right now. You're kissing it like the penis head on the toilet lid. But when you're sitting down to pee. But I don't know why, man. That mess is funny. But yeah, so higher highs, higher lows, slowly forming here for Velodrome. You made a equal or a lower high, and you made a higher low. That higher low led you to your first higher high in the set. Where's your next higher low likely to come in at the 618, 786? Dipped into the golden pocket. Now you're reversing to the upside. That is likely the first area you're going to see Velodrome, right, get that initial reaction, right? And you're going to come up and test this daily 200 SMA. The daily 200 SMA is everything. To me, it's everything. You see this line on every single one of my charts. Sometimes I even take away the 21, the VRVP and everything. I'll look at just the 200 MA and I'll stare at it and I'll be like, that's it. That's it. It's the most powerful signal in crypto, in my opinion. Why? Because when you get over it, right, a little bit of a fake out there, not going to lie, but you get over it, retest and support, boom, to the upside, right? Did not exist back here. Velodrome was too new. Fell beneath it, it would have saved you. You got out there, and it would have saved you from what? You got out, we closed the full candle body, and I'll go by the full candle body beneath to the lows. You'd save you from a 64% down draw. Now you're looking at potential cup and handle as well. Kind of the cup and handle vibes, is it not? Cup, handle. Potential breakout of that. That'd be cool. So yeah, it looks good. Higher highs, higher lows. Where's your next higher high likely to be? I deem it being around that, right around the 200 MA, the 1.618. That 200 MA is going to be your line in the sand. You crack the 200 MA, I'll flip bullish on an asset, quicker than anything else. And you close an asset above the daily 200 SMA, I'm going to be like, I'm a bull. I'm a bull. I'll say it. I'll be like, I'm a bull. I have to be, right? Now, price could get tight. Like XRP's instant, you're tight between the high volume node and the 200 MA. So I'm still a bull on XRP until we crack that daily 200 MA to the downside. But I always talk about the daily 200 SMA whenever I'm looking at the macro because it is so much confluence across assets all across the globe. You can do this on traditional stocks, on anything, and just look at this red line and how it interacts with the chart. Velodrome, not as much, right? But it happens on all sorts of time frames. Look, up here, if you got out when you drop beneath it on the 4-hour, it saved you from the entire bear market. It saved you from months. So you got above, you could have got back in, then got back out, right beneath potentially zero loss, right? Got above, got back out, zero loss, right? Like, so that area, like for investing, being in and out of spot is relatively safe in my opinion. And when you get too far away from this, the 21 moving average, you get really far. You got really far here. Okay, we got to come back to the 21. We did exactly that. So yeah, that's just Velodrome Finance. It's just kind of like how I trade, like zooming on into it. But yeah, Velodrome on the 4-hour, looking good. This looks like a nice flag, actually, man. Nice flag. Nice little flaggeroonie. You have a clear support and resistance line right here. A little bit of a rounded bottom. I like that. Where am I getting the most touches there? Was it there? Was that your breakout? Your breakout in the retest, and now you're off on your way. Potential. I also see this. Shoulder, head, right shoulder. Shoulder, head, right shoulder in play for Velodrome. That would be really, really nice in confluence with the gap through the VRVP that you see right here on your screen. That would gap up very, very quickly. I see move the upside for Velodrome. At least you're above the point of control right there. The odds of an 8% move to the upside are very, 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 very high with that giant gap in the VRVP. I call upside for Velodrome right here on the 4-hour, based off the 4-hour and the daily flag looking to rip to the upside. On the 4-hour, that looks juicy, man. That looks really, really juicy, and that would kick you out of this bigger pattern. I see higher prices here for Velodrome. An area of caution that I would say, I have to say it, is I do see more upside, but this kind of gives me the. You're right on. You got to crack back above this. That inverted shoulder, head right shoulder gives me confidence, but you got to crack above this area that has been, support the entire life of this asset essentially. So very key support resistance flip that's going on here. I'd like to see a pump and then come back down, retest that. That would be the golden long. Every time you've done that, you got the pump, retest it as support, right? Your support, every time your support was tested, right? You essentially could have taken a nice swing to the upside, with the exception here, you would have gotten wrecked. But that reaction has been massive off of this zone, right? 76% there, 69% there. Even from here, you dipped a little bit below, but you reclaimed it, 24% from there. You get above, you went on a 27% move, but you get above and you come back down and you retest that. That would be very, very nice for Velodrome, and you could speculate on higher prices, especially that you're at the point of control of the entire life of the asset. Let's see here. The entire life of the asset, point of control sits just above you. You get above that, man. You can do the ball rolling down the hill scenario, and you could be off on your merry way for Velodrome. An undervalued asset, in my opinion. I think Aerodrome, Velodrome, all those things will come back with time. But altcoin season needs to start. I think the first thing that's going to happen, right? My love, if you are still watching the stream, can you please bring me another cup of water, baby? Another cup of water. But yeah. Yeah, I need a box of remembrance here. I need a box of remembrance for Velodrome. Yeah, let me see it, man. Let me see it. I'll do a box of remembrance for Velodrome. I'll do it. Man, I'm not, so like it's just this support resistance flip, right? Because right now, I couldn't out of that shoulder, head right shoulder here. You could justify a long, right? You could justify a long, but is it that? That's right there. You're right there. You're right on it. So shoulder, head, right shoulder, you have macro lifetime support that you are trying to crack above right now as you speak. This giant gap in the VRVP looks to be filled here on the 4 hour. Yeah, man, box of remembrance. I would say on spot, if you're in spot, this looks hot. This looks hot. Velodrome in this area. It looks hot for spot. If you're looking for a leverage play, I would like to see a break above and a retest of this zone. A retest of that zone, and then you could get in on a juicy long to the upside. But I'd have to see the proof that this has been turned into support once again. I'd have to see the proof there, right? In order for me to take a leverage play, I'd have to see the proof that that's going to be a support. Because if we just go back above and nuke below, then that's not confirmed support. I want to see a comeback down here, preferably reset stochastics, and then I'd really, really like to get into a long trade there, because then I'd be like, okay, I am on macro support, not just macro support, but macro support that flipped back in to a support from a resistance, right? Support from resistance, right? We flip resistance, old resistance like to be new support. Resistance, new support just happens to be macro support that is respected up here. And even if you just catch a reaction, right, on the 4 hour time frame, that could pay you massively on Velodrome. I would keep that on your radar, baby. I would keep that on your radar. I'm going to keep Velo on my radar. I'm actually going to add an alert right here. An alert. I want to know when Velodrome gets above, right? I want to know when Velodrome, that's going to be, in addition to XRP, this is going to be my next area that I'm looking for. It looks good. Thank you for dropping that on my radar. That's going to be hot. That's going to be on my Twitter, baby. That's going to be maybe the next leverage play that BOYCECRYPTO takes. That BOYCECRYPTO takes right here, Velodrome. Ethereum looking to push. Guys, I've been with you guys for hours, man. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for being here. 10 o'clock, my time. Yeah, SUI looks good. I need a box of remembrance here for SUI. Yeah, okay, so I didn't want on Velodrome. Where's SUI at? Is SUI doing good? Oh, my goodness, we're already crossing it. What in the world is happening? Oh, my goodness. You guys hear that? That is so annoying. But it wakes me up in the middle of the night, so hey. All right. Let's see. Why is it doing that? Oh, Velo. Come on, man. What are you doing? All right, let's see. How's SUI doing? Got to take a peek at SUI because it's the number one altcoin that I'm concerned. I need a box of remembrance right here. I would love this thing cracked higher, man. Oh my goodness. Like this was the flag that I was looking at, right? This was the flag. I was looking at this flag right here. You know, where did I get in the other day on the 18th? I was looking at it on like the 4 hours or something. Yeah, it was this. It was that move that got you, Sin Nasty Kid. It got me, man. Got me. I was just using less leverage, and I didn't get liquidated. But this move to the upside, boom. I was like, flag, good. Stochastics, reset, ready to go. We got in. And then that Chop City action happened, man. We got, and was this on a Sunday? Did I get in the trade on a Sunday? Yeah, I did. So it was on Sunday price action, but I've seen it before where the weekends can lead to all-time highs. It's happened. And so I got a little antsy there. And lo and behold, now we're back at break even. It is what it is, but we're continuing that move, the initial idea of the trade. And I had an ideal stop loss, right? My stop loss down here at about 340, that's the support resistance flip, did end up holding here on the daily. So that looks good. I forget what the stop loss is, like 349 or something like that. But the stop loss never got hit. We came down here. My booty hole was puckering, baby. It was doing the cigar cutter sphincter. And we came down. We retested that support resistance flip. And now we're on our way to the upside, reclaiming that high volume node that is sitting at about 391 here. I see continuation to the upside for SUI. I see a massive move for SUI. Notice how SUI, when it moves, like on the daily, when it starts to move, this move was 4 days. This move was a single day. This 4-day move was a cataclysmic 66% move. This move was a 23% move. Keep in mind, right? PMG Corey, we're on leverage, brother. You're on 5x. This would be 3x your investment. This would be 3x, 300% on your investment. This would be a double up. And for me, like, yeah, I'm looking for a similar move, man. I'm looking for a similar move. I'm looking for 50, like, I'm looking to take a swing, for like a macro swing long, looking to go attack these highs right here, which I think is only but a matter of time here for SUI, the hottest asset in the game. Retest of the point of control as well, rolling off that high volume node to the next one. The ball rolling down the hill scenario. We started the roll, couldn't get it. We came back up to the hill, and now we're rolling back. We're just rolling back. Looks interesting. I love SUI. I love where it is. I love what it stands for. I love the white paper. I love the team. I love the partnerships. I love everything about it. I think this is going to be one of the #1 altcoin perform. I see 60, 70, potentially $80 billion for this asset over the course of the run. I think it'll happen. I think it'll happen fast. I think it'll run like Solana did in 2021. It mimics it almost perfectly, baby. Almost perfectly. But yeah, box remembrance, baby. Yeah, for SUI. All right, everybody. It is getting late. I'm going to hang out with my lady before the end of the night. It has been it has been a pleasure. It has been my pleasure, my duty, and my honor, right? Watch Bitcoin kind of consolidating up here near the highs. We'll see if the Asian markets decide to rip us or dip us, baby. So we are here. We're with each other. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on this beautiful Wednesday night. Things to keep in mind. We are at the all-time highs for Bitcoin. Keep the leverage low, in my opinion, in the event that you are getting, unless you're a scalper, keep the leverage low. I wouldn't advise getting in on any leverage positions here on Bitcoin. The altcoins are looking very, very juicy, and the reason I'm saying altcoins vice Bitcoin is just because of where Bitcoin dominance is, and I speculate alt season is just around the corner. In addition, we have U.S. economic news tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mark it on your calendar. If Bitcoin's in an all-time high run, this can add gas to the fire or stop us like a brick wall. It's interesting to see how Bitcoin and the SPY, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ have all been trading in tandem during New York market hours. So we'll see if the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ decide to gap up tomorrow. I hope they do. I really do hope they do. But initial jobless claims can be data that hurts or harms us depending on how it does come in and how the market views that. All right, Uncle Damn Son. I'm going to keep going for you guys, man. I'm going to keep going. We got new people hopping on in the chat. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, tick that bell, man. I'm live every single night with you, brother. I'm live every single night with you, every single night that I can be. Try to be one of the more consistent guys in crypto. I enjoy this. I do this for a living. This is what I do. This is my passion, and I'm glad to share it with you guys here on YouTube. Small channel, just growing up. I appreciate the like and the subscribe, man. Yeah, let's hop on into your request. XRP, baby. XRP. Let's have it, or not XRP, BTC XRP. Okay, so I'm going to look at this in two ways. XRP BTC. I'm going to look at this in two ways. One of them I think you're going to love, and one of them I think you're going to hate, right? And I don't know if you're an XRP holder or not. Yeah, so XRP, look. XRP BTC, I don't know what that line was here for. But, yeah, so this was the danger. And I'd go a step further. comparing XRP to the rest of the market, right? So I'll look at XRP BTC for you. It does not look good. I'll tell you that, my friend. And actually, I've been talking about the shoulder head, complex inverted head and shoulders, right? Dipping down against Bitcoin, right? So I think, is the potential for XRP to underperform? I think it will. I think it will. It already had its run. I think there are other alts that are going to, run. I think the massive amount of retail that is in this asset is going to be punished for buying over $3. And what's the best way to punish them is take this thing back to $1.49, right? Or just not pump it and let the rest of the market pump. Bitcoin, this thing will dump. XRP can stay exactly where it is and completely dump off the horizon here. And if Bitcoin rips, all the other altcoins rips, and XRP is just sitting on a 1% gain when you're looking at 20, 30%, is that going to keep the retail in XRP, or are they going to FOMO into the next, what they think is the next biggest thing? Because why did people get into XRP? They got into it because they're like, if XRP goes to $100, if XRP goes to $10,000, the retail ate that up like nothing, right? They ate that thing. And they don't realize, they still don't realize that it's unrealistic. It's not going to happen. Not this cycle anyway. I think XRP could get to $5 to $8. I think it definitely could. I am bullish on the asset. I think that all altcoins are going to go on a massive parabolic tear. But I don't think you're going to get $100 on it. Absolutely not. No, the amount of money that it would take to do that, man, over here on CoinMarketCap is insane. And I went over XRP earlier in the stream. So I encourage you to back up there. And I have two trade setups. I have a long and I have a short. And I'm on the sidelines right now for XRP. And I give my scenarios of when I'll long and when I'll short. And I'll do it based off of whatever price gives me. Right now, XRP, as I said earlier in the day, is sitting right underneath the point of control. Needs to be reclaimed for the bulls, right? For the bulls to remain in control of this rally, right? For XRP and for the XRP army, right? It's true. It is very, very true. So let's see. Yeah, so a big move can form for XRP. I'm tracking that. But XRP BTC, I'm not going to lie, does look a little weak. And it also looks a little weak. If you're looking at it on the log scale, I'll say, it looks a little different, right? But I don't like the log scale as much, right? Because you're still struggling at this resistance on the log zone. So it just doesn't, I don't get a clear picture here. You know what I mean? You're trying to make that higher high, maybe another higher low comes in, but in order for that higher low to come in, you'd have to come so low for XRP. So I don't really like that chart too much. Another one I want to keep your mind on, and this is why I say why I think that's a potential, right? The potential for this thing to do nothing while Bitcoin goes and rips and the altcoins rip and the altcoin market cap rips. Look at this chart, XRP.D, XRP dominance. Is this not looking the exact same thing? We went over this chart the other day, and I said anything, and I said this throughout the stream, man. Anytime you're underneath, I say this every day. Anytime an asset, regardless of whether it's a pair or a percentage or whatever, anytime you fall beneath the daily 200 SMA, I will immediately become a bear. I have to. You are closing this candle, right? You haven't closed a full candle, right? Yesterday, we kind of peaked above right there. You close this full candle beneath the daily 200 SMA, I'm a bear, man. I have to be a bear. Not a bear on XRP, but a bear on XRP dominance. What does that mean? It means lackluster pumps and more aggressive dumps comparatively to the rest of the altcoin market and Bitcoin's market. I see a dump here, and this isn't just a dump. This is not a dump. This is a major move, right, on the daily of about 28% of XRP's total market cap dominance. So, and it tells me that, is it going to hold where it is, where all the other top 10s kind of come up and match its market cap? I don't know, but this chart is telling me a story that the run for XRP has stalled for the moment. And you're right, looking on the daily in the short term, there is some downside. However, you're talking about, yeah, brother, yeah. Uncle Dom San, I appreciate you. So you got in from low 53, so you're in all in profit and you don't care to sell, just riding the ISO 2022 complaint tokens. Yeah. Hey, listen. That ISO 2022, I like those coins. I like Chainlink, right? I kind of lost a little faith in Chainlink, not gonna lie. H-Bar, I think, is one of the hottest setups in the game right now. Or some other ones. XLM, XRP is definitely one. The ISO 2022 compliance coins. So I gave you my bearish. I'm not bearish on XRP. I'm bullish. Right? I am bullish currently on XRP. I'm neutral on leverage, But in terms of dominance, I don't think it's going to perform. And it makes sense, right? Because all the other altcoins are so much lower. XRP's already had its run. So it makes sense for the other altcoins to catch up. Do I think XRP is not going to run? No, I think XRP is definitely going to run. So let's look at XRP. And I'll just go over the trading setup that I showed earlier. I have two. And this is everything to me, man. As a leverage trader, you're right here. I want you to look at two things. Number one is this red line, the daily 200 SMA. What I've told you is like my line in the sand, and this line right here. This line is going to continue to move up as the high volume node remains in confluence right here. You are squeezing in between the daily 200 SMA as support and that high volume node where the bears have run into resistance over and over, or the bulls have run into resistance over and over again. The bears have control of this range currently. So you're getting really tight in the what I believe is the make or break zone for XRP here for the bull market, right? I don't think this thing just continues to trade sideways. Could it? Sure. But you're getting tight. My long scenario, you break above the point of control and you retest it. That's where I'd be interested in a long. You break below the daily 200 SMA and you retest it. That's where I'd be interested in a short with a stop above both, right? So there'll be a stop above the daily 200 and a stop above that high volume node and preferably this previous high. And that would also break market structure, right? Because you have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. You'd make a lower low, and I'd have to speculate on a lower high, which would likely come in at that daily 200 SMA and dump to the downside. Then the bulls, you could get that crack to the upside. If you could get above that high volume node, come down and retest it. Show me XRP. Show me that you have control of this high volume node. And all long 10 ways to Sunday, I'll open up a long right here with my stop beneath the daily 200 SMA. And I'll take this thing, baby, on higher leverage than normal all the way up to my Fibonacci extension targets, which is where I see XRP going over the course of the bull run, right? But it's an if-then statement, right? If-then. That's why I say I'm neutral. Up to, up here to the 1.618, or you could go further than that. And I think XRP has the potential to reach $6.28 this bull market. That would be a 15-to-1 risk-reward ratio trade. That would be so juicy to me to take. And I would love to take it, man. I would love to take it to the upside. I'm like, and I said this earlier in the stream, the tokens that are on my radar right now are XRP and Velodrome Finance. I am foaming at the mouth for these opportunities because I see these coins being some of the tightest in the game, getting ready for the next macro move. And I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I agree that 1 to 2 months, you may get that big move. Would that not conflict? I'd say more about a month, right? Because that would give me my trade setup. That'd take about 30 days. Come on up here. Come on back down. That puts you at about June 19th. Where are we at? May 24th. 3 weeks. And I'm tracking this heavily, man. I'm tracking this heavily. Neutrally, I'm neutral on leverage. I'm overall bullish for XRP. I'll become a major bear. I'll tell you this. I'll become a major bear for XRP beneath that red line. Period. It's just who I am as a trader. I get the narrative. I get the asset. I understand what it's trying to do with Brad Garlinghouse. You bring up an interesting point. I just read that last thing that you said. Yeah, a lot of hot tokens under the radar. You can definitely ride this out. You need a major catalyst to get out of bearish sentiment. Yeah, so what I would like to hear for XRP, here's what I would like to hear. I want to hear, okay, above everything else, tax-free for crypto in the United States. You come on over here. What is at the top? The USA founded coins. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Did they take it off? Did they? Did they take this off? They did. You guys remember how we were going over the USA top coins? They don't have that as a category anymore on CoinMarketCap. Wow. That's wild. Anyway, XRP was at the top of that list. I am surprised at that. That blows my mind. Where is it? Can I search that? No. They took that off as a category. That's interesting. But the point being, tax-free crypto in the United States, potentially on the table. If Donald Trump just opens up his Twitter and he tweets that out, rocket ships for XRP. That'll be a news catalyst. That'll be insane. And I'm not saying to open up this trade now. That's not exactly what, I mean, you could. But I'd be looking for a retest. I'd be looking for a retest because you're risking that high volume node being resistance. And we took a scalp the other day on XRP, a long on XRP the other day on this dip and rip, right? We retested that high volume node and we took the bounce off of it. Oh, that was juicy, man. We milked the profits out of that. It was super awesome trade, super awesome trade. So this is a trade setup that I'm tracking here for XRP. I think the ISO 2022 coins do have a leg up, right? In the government compliance and everything. I want to see the United States government starting to add to the strategic reserve XRP, right? They want XRP in the reserve. Show us that you're buying, not that you're not selling what you've taken from criminals, or what they've seized from criminals, but show us that you're buying XRP. We don't have that yet. We do know that Brad Garlinghouse and the president are kind of, I don't want to say in bed together, but they've met up. There's been posts on Twitter and stuff, a lot of speculation over that. I want to hear the president say XRP. I want to hear some of the major banks in the United States say XRP. I want to hear Bank of America. I know Bank of America was testing the XRP ledger to see how it worked. I want to see the results from Bank of America. I want the Bank of America CEO to come out and say, we are going to run our banking system off of the XRP ledger. Give me something, baby. You're right. You need a news catalyst. And what was the news catalyst back here? Yeah, the SEC winning the lawsuit, right? The SEC lawsuit becoming closed, right? You can argue over the past couple of years, but the SEC losing, and they did lose. And regardless of whether you agree with that or not, the court said that XRP was in the right. They paid a very minimal fine, and we moved on with our lives, and they can continue going on about their business. Oh, I got an Amber Alert, man. I hate that. But yeah. So you need a catalyst for XRP to move to the upside. I'm on the sidelines. Does not look as hot from a dominance perspective. I will admit that. But that makes sense based off of where we are. It makes sense that we chop in here. And that shoulder, head right shoulder that I showed you on dominance will only break down, what? 66% of the time, 68% of the time. What if I looking at? What if, a big what if this is a fake out? Could it be? Yeah, you see fake outs all the time. Dip and rip. Could happen. Stochastics are resetting, and you will form, on the next high here, you will form daily bullish divergence, something that I do not mess around with. So I'll be tracking that on XRP dominance. Thank you for dropping your suggestion in the chat, man. It's a pleasure having you here. Thank you for allowing me to go over your coin, man. I appreciate you, that you trust me with that TA. Absolute legend. I appreciate it. Yeah, over the last hour, we're getting some, man, Hyperliquid is just hot. 3082 Hyperliquid screaming to the upside. Exchange is not doing enough. When the dark pools get active, hey, thank you, man. Thank you for hopping on in here and chatting with me in here. Absolute legend. I agree, needing the major catalyst. 1 to 2 months away. Banana forming, potentially. Bitcoin XRP. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of hot tokens underneath the radar. Very, very true. I got my coins, man. I'll level straight with you. The coins that I hold on for altcoins, I have a small 25% of my net worth that is in the crypto market is in altcoins. That 25% is broken down in order: SUI, Ondo, virtuals, and render, in that order, going down. SUI being about half of that portfolio. So that's where I have my money, man. I have a couple eggs in my altcoin Easter basket, and I've done countless hours of research into why I am viewing those assets as the best risk-reward assets of this bull run. I think XRP is bullish. I don't think it's going to give me I don't think at this point the juice isn't worth the squeeze for me, man. I'm in a different position than you, man. I didn't get in down here. I have a little bit of XRP on a ledger, very small amount. I didn't get in down here at 53 cents. Shout out to you, man. I would venture that you have made more money than most of the people, right? Or P&L, right? Percentage gains than most of the people that are sitting in here. Thank you, my lady. The most of people that are sitting in here today in this stream. Why? Because their altcoin isn't 358% off the lows since November. Unless you're an XLM, HBAR, thank you, my dear, or any of those other assets, those ISO 2022 coins that ripped to Valhalla when, we were getting that speculation that the SEC lawsuit was concluded and Brad Garlinghouse was shilling those pictures of him with Donald Trump. And he has had meetings, and he's also on the Crypto Advisory Council. It's interesting how Senator Loomis denied a meeting with him the other day. Come on, man. Come on. I want to see something like that. I want to see something come on out of that. And you can track Brad on X just like I do. But yeah, XRP, man, like you cannot argue that this has been the steamroller of the bull run so far. But you could argue, are we even in the bull run? For the altcoins, are you in the bull run yet? I don't know. But I have my trading plan. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I'd say if and then you break above that high volume node and we come back there, I take the long. You break below the daily 200 SMA, I take the short. Where do I take profit at the short? At these high volume nodes down here, areas that have not been tested here for XRP, since this run up to the upside, just a couple of days, not even days that you spent there, weekend days included, right? Weekend days, I believe some of these are weekend days. Weekend days here. Yeah, Saturday. This move was on a Saturday. Never tested. Down here at $1, right? And I'm not saying it's going to go down there, but I'll have a short in play with stops above that and take profits on the way down. That's how I'm looking to play the leverage game with XRP. That's just how I'm looking to play it. Right now I'm neutral and I don't own any in spot, but I think it can do some massive numbers over the course. And I think it will massively run in the event that Bitcoin dominance does start turning over to the downside. Because if Bitcoin money starts flowing out of Bitcoin and it starts flowing into the high cap altcoins, XRP is going to get some of that love. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you and congratulations on your massive gains there in one of the most honestly underrated assets in the crypto space. If you were to tell me in November when XRP was at 53 cents after doing nothing, arguably since 2021, and that it went up to $3.50 in the span of 3 months, most people would have laughed at you. But you had the courage to get in on something that you believed in. It was high risk. Why was it high risk? Because you risked the SEC winning that lawsuit. And you came out on the right side, man. You came out on the right side where the public doubted you, and you reaped the biggest rewards, honestly, that most people have, the best rewards of the bull market so far in XRP. So shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. All right, everybody, that's going to conclude it for me tonight. Velodrome looks hot. H-bar looks hot. XRP, I'm monitoring that. I'm going to be doing a little bit of research into Hex Chain and IOTA, something I don't know much about either. So I got a little bit of homework to do tonight. Thank you, each and every single one of you for tagging along with me tonight on this analysis as we track the all-time high for BTC, baby, for Bitcoin. We may get more juice throughout the night. Let's see what the Asians do as their market opens, baby, as their market opens. Ding, 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 ding. So shout out to each and every single one of you guys. Thank you for being here. I will see you guys tomorrow night on the live. Until then, until next time, Boys Crypto is out. Follow me at BoysCrypto102 to keep my updates throughout the day. Boys Crypto's out. I'll see you guys. Much love. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Thank you all for being here on this historic night. Congratulations to all the Bitcoin holders. A monstrous, monumental day for all of us. Congratulations, and I will see you all tomorrow.